Hello everyone, this is Ryan. I'm here with my friend Tensa, or Tyler. Say hi.
What's going on?
He's pretty good at that. You should do this
Oh,
more
yeah.
often. So today, pretty much what we're going to be doing is we are going to be doing a podcast, but I want to do a little bit of an explanation first. So pretty much I want to really update you guys on the Bleach stuff because I know a lot of you must be wondering about that. So I'm here to tell you that we canceled the I'm just kidding. No, it's still going. It's still going. It's going strong as ever. You're not hearing a lot from me about it, but it's because we're just spending a lot of time working on it. Like the animation team is going really well right now. People are actually doing stuff, so like that makes me really excited. We're working. I can confirm, by the way, we are making an ending. So you can look forward to that. You might hear some future stuff about that. Who knows? I don't know. I did want to explain a few things, though. One of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast, I wanted to spend some time with my good buddy here, and this is the this is the this is the type of video I've really wanted to make for a long time. This is very similar to the streams that I used to do pretty much almost every day, and I kind of wanted to say sorry about that. I know a lot of you were very used to me streaming almost every day for many hours, and I do miss doing that. But unfortunately, I've found myself in a position in which where I can't do that very often at all. And that's for a few reasons. One being I'm working on things that are very spoilery or things that I would show only to Patreons. So it's hard to show you guys. And like, we're taking the approach to the project so much more professionally now. It's really, really well organized. And I'm not lying at all. Please believe me. No, I'm being serious. So it's going really well. It's still hard to work on, and it's a lot of work, but it's going really well right now. I'm feeling more confident than ever that we're gonna make a good product. But for the streams though as well, I've kind of found myself to not have doing the streams back then took a lot of like mental and emotional energy that I've found myself lacking these days. I'm getting old, guys. It had to happen sometime. I'm very sorry. No, I've been, you need to be in the mood for streaming, and I haven't been feeling it lately. I do want to stream again, because I know you guys like that, and I get to talk to you guys. I got a lot of plans for things, but we're trying to just really set our sights just on the first episode, because I know a lot of people have been waiting for that for a very long time. And, I don't know, you guys can, if you have any things that we don't say during the podcast, also, I really want you guys to give this a try, because, I know a lot of people don't visit the streams because either one, I stream when they're asleep or when they're at school or something like that, or you know, the streams kind of just aren't their thing. But the podcast, we've taken time aside. I've actually gone to the efforts of scheduling this with Tensa, and we took time out of our days. We're just gonna sit right here. We're not gonna be multitasking, full attention to the microphone, and we're gonna do this. So I'd like you guys to try and give this a shot. And, you know, maybe you'll like it. Anyway, without further ado, that introduction lasted a little too long. But anyway, so how are you, Tyler?
Good. Hanging in there, I guess.
What have you been up to lately?
Work. That is literally about it.
So,
I work freaking
you,
day.
I remember you told me like a while ago, how long have you been working at the video place?
It was the day after Memorial Day, so it's been about almost 4 months.
Oh, jeez, this freaking time flies.
Yeah, I know.
And you would say you've been enjoying it. It's just a lot of work.
Enjoying it is a very strong word. So it's
you find it a solid job.
Very solid, because I had a hard time when I moved. So this was like the very first thing that popped up that I actually got a reply from. So I can't complain. I'm making decent money, and I don't spend a lot, so I'm saving everything up. So it's good.
That's what I did for.
I can't complain. But you're right. It's a lot of work. Like, the days go by super fast, and that's only because we get thrown so much stuff our way.
Yeah, when you're busy, it just freaking flies. I remember when I used to work at Denny's. I had I think I used to tell people this, but I used to do the night shifts, and it was really funny because people would kind of treat me like the clock. You know, they would come back into the dish pit because they don't really have any time to check their phones or something like that. And we didn't really, most of the clocks around the restaurant were like not correct. Like they were like 2 hours behind or something like that, or 25 minutes off. It was really kind of crappy. But they were all so high that no one could really reach them and no one wanted to get the ladder. Denny's is a really, really, really high bar restaurant. I know I crap on it all the time. I feel bad, but it's I'm not making any of this stuff. But anyway, they'd come back into the dish pit and people would be like, "Hey Ryan, what time is it?" And I would kind of just guess, and it was kind of like a fun game. And then they would go out and then come back like 5 minutes later, and they've checked their phones at this point, and they'd be like, "All right, you were like 2 minutes off, but good job," or something like that. But I would just kind of guess. But like when it was really busy, I would do like this math in my head. Like when it was busy, I'm like, whew, it feels like that was like 2 hours. And then I'm like, well, it was busy and I wasn't thinking too much. So it was probably like 3 hours or like 2 hours, 45 minutes. Or when it was really slow, I'm like, oh, it must be like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. by now. I'm like, it's probably 1:22. And I would
like, it's only been like an hour. It's
oh, and I would like see that and I'd be like, how am I going to make it? Like, how am I going to survive this long? Oh my God. Although
it's
when
like the last,
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say really quick, like for me, it flies by really fast because I work about like, usually the past couple of days I've been working like a little bit like 10 to 7 or whatever, but it flies by really quick. But then you get to like that last hour and a half goes by so slow because then that's where
you're like inching for it, and you're thinking about it.
Yeah, and then the night people show up and they start, you know, claiming stuff in the emails, and I'm like, nothing to do, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm sitting here, but I'm getting paid to do it, so. But I just keep looking at that clock. I'm like, oh, it's probably been like 45 minutes, and I'm like, oh, it's been 5. Cool.
Oh, rip. The morning people used to complain so much. It was really annoying. They'd come in. When they did come in, so many of them canceled. They'd like phone in and they'd be like, I'm sick. I can't make it in. Sorry. You'll have to stay another 4 hours. And it was a freaking Donna. She used to call in sick so often. She was always partying. It was really annoying. She was like a mom too. It was like, what are you doing?
I'm out there partying, not going to Denny's.
Yeah, if you're partying, why aren't you going to Denny's? It's where the party's at.
I was gonna say she'd probably show up drunk. It's just like, oh, I forgot.
Someone did once. Somebody did once, and then they tried to call in sick the next day. And they're like, well, hey, I can't help it. I drank too much. Like, I'm sick now.
Yeah, we know.
And it's like, yeah, you threw up in the bathroom. I cleaned it up. I know. She did throw up in the bathroom. She threw up in the handicap bathroom.
Awesome. Oh.
Which is, it's a little better, though, because the sink's really, like, wide and, like, flat, so it's easier to clean. So that I was like, you're kind of crappy because it's like when it's your friend's vomit, you think of it in a different way. You're like, my friend did this. I feel betrayed. She gave me like $10 too as she left the bathroom. She was just like, yo, sorry. It's like, oh,
clean up that puke, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Funny thing actually happened today. Because we were when we were trying to plan this podcast, we were thinking like, okay, well, we need a few things to talk about. We're pretty confident though, because we're like, yeah, a lot of stuff goes on, and we kind of keep the conversation going. My chair broke today. The
I saw.
Yeah. And I've had the same chair for about 6 years, I'd say, at this desk, and it was like a metal kitchen chair, like metal bars in the back, and I put a pillow to it, and then I put a pillowcase over the entire chair to try and keep it from falling off the chair, and I had a pillow on the chair at all times because it was like a hard metal kitchen chair. I've been saying that for like 6 years.
I'm gonna say that's bad.
It was bad. I hated it. It's how I got. It's how I got my. Probably how I got my sister or whatever, because it's like, yeah, you're gonna sit on this thing for like 10 hours a day. That's great. But so I got a new chair today, and it's pretty nice. But it was really funny getting it because we went to Staples, and I was what was it? I was originally gonna get a different chair, and I found one of those chairs that are good for your back, the ones that you kind of use your knees to prop yourself up with. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I do, but that sounds uncomfortable too.
No, it's really cool, but I've heard long term they don't feel so good, and they have no back. Yeah. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no to that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe this would be good for like something like a stool to pull up so someone could sit beside you, but then they're gonna be like, hey, why are you busting out the wonky stool? Am I not good enough for a proper chair or an actual stool? Like, what is this? This looks like a freaking guitar stand.
Backless chair? Come on.
I mean, it's pretty good for some spineless people I know. So, I'm not naming. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, back to the story. I was messing with the guy at Staples. I was kind of being, I was playing with him, but then I was kind of like, dude, are you serious? Like, the chair I was originally looking at, I didn't end up getting it. It said between $70 and $150, like $149.99. Chairs are so expensive. Oh my god! Like I was like, most of them were like $200 to $300. There was one $400, and these are just office chairs. And I'm like, this is couches. Like I remember when we were like trying to buy a couch, and they were the price, and I'm like, $400. God, we can't afford that. Like, holy crap!
It's ridiculous. They've gone up so much now.
I don't get it, and it's the same thing. Like a lot of things that should be really expensive aren't. Like, hey, here's a computer that literally puts almost every space rocket from the 90s to shame. And it's $200, $300 type thing. But like, you want to buy a jacket? Get ready to knock out $200.
It's like, the same goes with like TVs. It's like, oh, you want this freaking like TV that's going to go all the way across your room? $300. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like getting TVs.
You want these Nike sneakers? $500.
Well, yeah, it's like, this is the stuff that should be $20, dude. Like, I don't get this. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm used to Walmart or something. I don't know. It's really frustrating because I go out, I'm like, I'm gonna get something nice. I'm gonna spend like $60, you know, spend good money on a chair.
Yeah.
I'm like, the good chairs are $400. I was not prepared. But anyway, I got off topic again. The guy with the chair. So it didn't actually say the price of the chair. So I'm like waiting for someone to like, well, I wasn't really kind of just waiting by the chair. Like I was kind of keeping an eye out because you could see most of the store from there. And I saw a guy and I kind of like waved him over. I'm like, hey, can you give me a hand for a second? And I'm like, hey, so there's a chair over here I'd like to purchase, and I'm not seeing a very definitive price. I hope that was the right word. But I point at it, and he goes, oh, that's easy. It's $150. I'm like, oh, you know? And he's just like, well, it says right there. And he points at the sign, and he points to the 150 side of the 70 to 150. I'm like, no, if you see, it says 70 to 150, and he go, I'm not kidding, Tyler. He goes, oh, then it's 70. And I'm like, what?
Okay, but you just said 150.
I'm like, no, it's 70 to 150. He's like, oh, and I'm like, well, and he's just like, wait, no, it can't be that. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. God. And this guy works here, and I'm like, look down here. It talks about this discount, so it says the price varies, and on the discount it says up to $22.88, right? And he goes, oh, it's $22.88. And I'm like, sir, considering that there's chairs beside it that are smaller, that are $160, I highly doubt it's $22.88. But if you'd like to sell it to me for that much, I will not fight you on that. And he goes,
oh my god.
And I'm like, is he serious? And he goes, oh, well, I have to go deal with a customer. I'll be right back. I'm like, I am a customer, but okay. And he just leaves, and I'm like,
am I not good enough for you?
And I'm waiting for him for probably 10 minutes. And then there was this Asian dude that was working there that I saw like when we first came in the store, because we came in because we were looking to get a tablet for my little sister because she's interested in getting one. And I saw him, and he was busting around. Like, that guy worked hard. And so I see him, I'm like, screw it. I don't want to be rude to the other guy who said I'll be right back, but I'm like, I'm not waiting. And so I went and asked the dude to come over, and he's talking about it. He brings me into the back, shows me like every chair they have, and asks me for like what my room's like, what do I do, like what do I usually sit forward. Like he's asked, like he's really going, like I just went from the dude who literally doesn't know how to read to like
got the new guy to the
sham wow guy. Like this guy's trying to like he wasn't trying to scam me or anything. Like he was just like, wow, you're very thorough about this, and I was like really impressed. He looked like he was working way too hard though. But we're going through it, and he's like cutting open boxes, and he's like, look at this one. He's like, this one's got this. It's got a mesh. And he's like, and for your height, this one was probably a better one, kind of thing. I'm like, oh, okay. And he showed me another chair, and it was like we're talking about me buying chairs on a podcast. Sharing is caring. But it was like a $260 chair, but he sold it to me for like $140. So I was like, I'm okay with that. I'm
Say,
okay.
I mean, if it's, and you know, he put you through the ringer trying to find you the best one. So
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't
so
feel pressured at all. But it's funny because the other guy, when he was showing me other chairs, the other guy comes back and he goes, "Oh, can I help you with anything?" I'm like,
no.
"No, actually, your buddy guy here is actually already helping me." And he's like, "Oh, I was just making sure." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, this guy is
Oh, I just don't want to
serious.
get fired for abandoning a customer.
I think it was his boss or something like that because he told the Asian dude told him to take his break as I was leaving. I don't know. He seemed new. I mean, I'm not like I was new.
Sound
I was
new.
new once. I was a newbie once, but
Probably should have asked, like,
reading the side.
he should have been like, "Oh, I'll go grab someone who knows. I don't know as much. I'm new here."
Yeah, he just abandoned me. He was
He
like,
just kind of left you hanging.
and I just saw him
It's almost like
wandering
he's just
around. I'm like, where's this customer that was more important to me? I don't want to sound like one of those entitled people that are like, I'm the customer, I'm right, or give me your attention.
Fair enough.
I'm paying your store. Like, I don't like people who do that. But I was kind of
that
like,
guy.
that's a little far. But anyway, it was really fun messing with him. What was it? I remember something while I was at the store. I'm like, I'm gonna say this at the podcast, but then I remembered there's times where I go in the
Remember the
stores.
chair?
Yeah, the chair story.
The
No,
chair was way better.
what is it? Uh, right. Okay. There's this one time because I remembered it because I remember when I bought my tablet. Right. I went to a Best Buy, and I remember the guy was helping me, and he was also kind of a little like he didn't know much. Also, the chair guy from the Asian chair guy at Staples, he told me everything to do with tablets as well. Like this dude was a
cool.
pro. He knew his crap. And anyway, so the Best Buy guy, I messed with them. I don't know. I hope it's not condescending or anything. I just kind of find it funny when I
Like
see.
messing with a lot of people in stores now. I'm getting the impression you just like to go around to department stores and just mess with every single person.
I like joking with them, but then when I see that they're like not catching up to my joke, I kind of see how far I can push it until they figure it out. And then when they don't, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I don't like go to like my dad used to do this thing. We'd go through like the Tim Hortons drive-through, and he's like, "Can I get the Baconator?" And I'm like, "Dad, that's not funny." Like, and they're like, actually
Don't
thinking
sell it.
they actually think that he's like looking for the Baconator, and they're like, "Oh, we don't serve that here." They don't laugh because they don't know
That's
if he's
like-
joking or
yeah.
not.
Right, because it's like going to KFC and ordering the Colonel Chicken Fun Pack, and looking at their faces when they don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, that actually sounds like a real thing. You got me too.
Yes.
They'd be like,
where you go inside and you point at the menu and you go, "I want the Colonel Chicken Fun Pack,"
and then they like
look
look
up.
behind you and they're like, I don't know of that.
They're like, "Where is that?" And you keep pointing. You go right there. The Colonel
Wait,
Chicken Fun
wait
Pack.
there.
I hope people know what I'm referencing.
I didn't waste. I wasn't trolling them that hard. So at the Best Buy, I was asking him. I'm like, "Hey, do you guys have any Wacom Intuos?" He's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Drawing tablet." He's like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm like, could you go? Can you get me one of the guy over there in the blue shirt?" And he starts. He's like, "Oh, sure." And he goes walking away, and then he stops. And I was like,
doesn't go over to him. He just stops.
no, because it's like I told him to go get the guy in the blue shirt, and I pointed over. All the Best Buy employees wear blue shirts.
Oh,
And
okay, I
it-
got you.
And so he,
I thought you were pointing out a specific guy. No, you
No.
had the whole crew.
and then so he
standing
starts
there.
walking over. I'm like, "Can you go get me that guy in the blue shirt?" And he's like, "Oh yeah,
You're
sure."
like,
And he goes to
"Dick."
leave, and I'm watching him, and I'm just watching him like he's speed walking over there, and then he just stops, and it's like really
And then
hard.
he just
not-
turns around and he's just looking at you. He's like, "You ass."
I don't know why. It tickles me. It's
You
just
sound like a nightmare.
should have seen me in school. And then he's like, you know, when everyone's like, "Hey, I'm tired," I'm like, "Nice to meet you, tired." That's baby game. It was.
Say, I'm not a fan of that joke.
That's
Do
the
it way
point.
too often, quite frankly.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But it's pretty good though. It's just going to stores and just I don't know. Like if you get them to crack a smile, like it's pretty fun. Like I saw this video once. He went to like a what are they called? They're in the malls. They're like the little outlets in the middle of the store.
Mhm.
Like like usually they sell phones and stuff for like lottery tickets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Like those little booths that they have set
Yeah,
up. Like they're not like really a store, but they're there.
A kiosk, you know,
Kiosk?
a kiosk. Yeah, it's something like that. I can't remember the word for it. English is a great language. But there was one time where I saw a video and there was a guy going to a guy at a kiosk, and they were selling like phones, like mobile services and such or something like that. And he's just like, yeah, my phone's not working. And he's just like, oh, sir, how can I help you? What model do you have? And he's like, yeah, I got like one of the yellow ones. And he's like, and the antenna didn't work. And he pulls out a banana with like a broken stem. And he's like, I keep trying to use it. It's not working. And the guy at the cashier's just like, you funny.
Oh, you puts his hands on his hips.
You funny. Yeah, I think he just kind of smirked at him, and it was like, that's pretty funny. Like, I just love stuff like that, you know?
Oh my gosh. That's great.
It's pretty good. I was talking with my sister earlier today about like humor and like what type of humor people like, because it's kind of a thing. Like humor has genres, you know, like it's like there's dark humor, there's just pun humor, there's word humor, there's like bathroom humor, like there's all these different types of humors. It's gonna stop sounding like a word soon.
Yeah.
I had a tumor. Oh no, that's the dark humor. But we were talking about it and whether it was appropriate or not, kind of thing. And it's kind of weird because we were talking about why people like resort to edgy humor more now than ever, and we're like trying to figure out why people do that. And I like my guess is kind of like people have become a little desensitized by having access to everything, or by seeing things that are like very extreme.
Yeah.
And so the edgy humor is like, you know, it pushes boundaries, which is out of the norm from what people have been used to, or it's become diluted because they've seen so many things that just make it look tame. So that's why people resort into edgy humor or dark humor or like stuff like that. Yeah,
it's already so far. It's like you're always trying to see, you know, you're trying to outdo everybody else, because that's what it seems like with edgy humor.
Yeah, you're just who can be like darker or who can be more brutal or who can like pretty much make people's jaws drop more. It's not about who's funnier.
Right. Which is
there is funny edgy humor, but it's usually ironically funny, not actually haha funny. It's like, oh my god, that's like, oh, like you pretty much laugh because you're like you caught me off guard.
Like when I think of that, I think immediately of someone like Daniel Tosh, because the way that his comedy has come off in the past few years, now he like stand up. He really is trying to push it. Like I won't repeat anything that he's said, but it's but you know,
if you're not repeating it, then yeah.
It's just like it's sensitive topics that people are always, and he's always just like making fun of it, and I'm just like, the whole crowd go, oh, and they laugh and clap, and he's like, oh,
and
like
he's
that's
like,
too much.
It's cool.
And I'm like, I laugh, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, like that's a little much, but I don't know. Yeah, it's
like, should it even be encouraged, you know?
Yeah, because like, I also think like his is kind of like a bad edgy, where I sometimes think like someone like Louis C.K. does better edgy, because he says some pretty horrible stuff too, but at the same time he's like speaking the truth.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that. Like what was the guy? He did like a documentary. I know his name. I think it's Michael something. Michael Moore. Mike, do you know Michael Moore?
The big fat guy.
Yeah, the fat guy. The fat guy.
Columbine.
Yes, yeah. He did. Yeah, you know him. But I saw a video. I don't know too much about him, so I'm not saying like I support him or anything, but I did see a video where it was like he was making jokes about the situation with like police crime with blacks and stuff like that. And he was like he wasn't making fun of the black people, he was making fun of the cops and such. And he was doing it on the street in public, and you kind of go like, oh, it makes you get really uncomfortable. But he was doing it kind of like, hey, here's the situation. I'm making fun of it, but it's like, I'm not joking, and you know I'm not joking. but we're still
Right.
making light of it. And so
And see,
it's
that
kinda,
sounds like South Park to me too,
and
because
it's
they always take social issues and they
they
make
just
fun of
rain
it.
on them. Yeah.
They do it in such a good way. I mean,
And
it's
then
still
Family Guy's like, here's a celebrity that we can make an obscure reference to.
there's a cutaway.
Yeah, cutaway.
Like, no, that's no.
Apparently they used to they got the idea from that because the Simpsons used to do it like very often, like, or sorry, not very often, they used to do it very like rarely, and then Family Guy was like, we'll take that humor. And like I looked into like the writing behind it because I really like comedy and stuff like that. Like I've
Right.
never wanted to get into it myself, but I find like the mentality behind stuff like that really interesting. And I hope no one misunderstands. Like Tyler and I, we kind of like dark humor. Like I make jokes like that all the time. He occasionally does. Mostly
I'm
me. It's mostly me.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I was gonna say, let's not beat around the bush here. It's,
Yeah, well, we're honest here. But it's kind of we're not saying that we're like uncomfortable by it, but we're kind of. It's good to question things and make sure that you're not kind of
I was gonna
just
say, I'm not like one of those like, oh my god, it's so offensive. It's just like I
the
laugh.
PewDiePie thing.
Yeah, I'm not touching that.
Not
I'm
touching that one.
Not
Are
touching
you
that.
sure?
No.
Because every other YouTube
No.
channel has.
And all I'll say is that yeah, he shouldn't have done it.
Don't-
That's all I have to
Don't
say.
say that word. It's not
Don't
nice.
say it. It's you shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah, no
that.
comment.
Yep.
I wonder how much of the comments are gonna be about that. They're not gonna want to talk
What
about
do
my
you
chair.
really
That's for
think?
sure.
No.
What type of chair did you get? Italian leather?
It's like, oh my gosh, we don't want to hear about PewDiePie. I want to hear about the chair. Oh,
Yeah, I was putting I had to put the chair together in my. I don't know. Sometimes I'm really
IKEA?
stupid. Yeah, I was like, the dude hands me a box, and I take the box and I put it in my car, and we drive home, and it's like I take the box out and I take it to my room. And I'm like, a heavy box, right? I didn't think, is the assembled chair gonna fit in this box? I thought I thought I'm gonna open the box and pull out the chair. I didn't think, oh yeah, you got to put the chair together. And so I'm like really tired. I'm like just holding on to the thought. I'm gonna get home, and I'm gonna put this chair where the old one used to be because I was really pissed and I was tired. And then my old chair broke while I was sitting in it. And I'm like, man, I'm holding on just to sit in this nice, comfy chair. I actually have a proper chair for once. I open the box and I'm like, it's in like styrofoam and plastic bags, and I'm like, all right. And I'm just like freaking defeated, and I just like planted my face on my bed. I'm like, ugh.
too bad, so sad.
Then I spent the next like 20 minutes putting the chair together, and then having to take it apart because I put the arms in backwards. In my defense, it was hard to figure out where the seat actually directed, but then after I looked at the diagram a little more, I was like, I got you. But
So you gotta look at those directions.
yeah. But one of the things I wanted to ask you about.
Back to the chair.
Everything goes back to the chair, Tyler. Didn't you know? I did want to ask you about your channel, because I think a lot of people here. I don't know how many people are familiar with it, and
I don't either. Probably not many.
I'm curious on that. You guys say in the comments, have you watched the great TensaZangetsu59?
Comment. Did you watch my reviews when I was relevant?
When I was relevant, when Bleach was around, when people wanted to watch foodgasms or read foodgasms. Didn't you get a copyright? Are you out of the field on those copyright things? Those are unfair.
Yeah, it was just the one. I remember it happened a couple months ago, and I swear they said it was either September or October. The strike away, but it pissed me off because it was Shueisha. But yeah, it's been claimed, and I'm like, every video that I do involving, if it's a chapter review or anything, I always flip. Yes, yeah. I flip the pages. The pages,
and
so
you
it's
usually
like,
zoom in and crop and all that.
Yeah, I do all that kind of stuff, so I'm not like freaking whole page and it's not making any sense, like, because that's the whole thing I do with my videos is I try to show a couple panels and then and then keep going and, you know, summarizing the chapter and all that. So I thought I was doing like okay. Like I never got anything with Bleach ever for whatever 4 years.
Well, they didn't care.
Never
That's the thing. They needed more
but like yeah, I
exposure
would
for
have thought they
Bleach.
would have, yeah. But here it is, you know, and it was like a month after I think it happened. It came out of nowhere. I was just like checking my email.
Was it on
Copyright claim. I was like,
Shonogeki?
oh god,
Shogeki?
Shokugeki, yeah, no
Shokugeki.
Soma.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't still flip the pages. It's my voice, you know, I have background music playing, but it's, you know, no copyright sounds, so
no, they only
it was again
if you got a strike, then that's purely on visuals.
It was, and I mean, it was Shueisha, so they were like, you know, you're using our imagery, and I thought, well,
yeah,
technically yes, but technically not. Like
technically, I altered it. I flipped it and zoomed. Okay,
I did. I
Get off my
altered
back.
it. It's fine. Like,
I mean, they can do that, but
why
it's
would they?
kinda
I didn't know
like-
why they would attack the one video, but not the other ones. Because then when the one got hit, I got terrified that they were going to go after the other one.
I guess it's a warning.
Yeah,
That's kind of crappy that they do that, and then, well, I think that they let you off because it's pretty. If they had to like actually watch your video, right, and see it because you flipped it and zoomed, so their scanners can't really find it, or their automatic bots. That's why all the anime episodes online, it's always in those little boxes, and they have the background moving and the voice deepened and all that. It's like that. It's just avoiding the Autobots. Oh, and
Exactly.
and the Decepticons. No, but like YouTube's filter system or whatever. It's really funny because you know it exists because you upload unlisted videos and they get striked for the music or the visuals instantly, and it's like, how did they know? But it's like they don't even need to be reported. They just get you on that. But
sucks.
It's one of the risks you take when you're like, hey, I want to review this. Is like if they want, they can strike you. It's unfortunate, but
yeah, I mean it is, but it's unfortunate. But again, I did it for 4 years and no problems like at all. I mean, you can joke and make fun. Oh, it was Bleach. Bah, they needed the attention, but
it's like they could have done something for those 4 years.
I mean, yeah, something could have happened, but nothing. So I just thought it was weird that after a couple months of reviewing Shokugeki, that they were like, yeah, this one in particular needs to go.
Well, they lost all the money from. I'm not going to keep joking about it. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know. Sometimes like I think about that. Like that's something that I don't really address too much ever in videos is the copyright worries when it comes to this project. For for us, it's like I don't own the intellectual property, and obviously I don't ever claim to. And like sometimes people ask comments. Sometimes they're not even joking. They're like, "Oh, did you make Bleach? Do you make Bleach? Like, how are you doing this?" And it's like, you should work at Staples.
You should work at Best Buy or Staples, one of those great places.
I got a nice friend for you. He's got a blue shirt. But
he knows where to direct you.
he'll help you out. With the Bleach project, I've never really addressed this, I guess. Is we're fully aware that they can get mad at us, but they'd have to really be upset because what I've done is all the visuals, I draw them or animate them myself. I don't take the manga pages and put them on screen. I don't take clips from the anime and put them on screen. Like they could, and I'm not taking any of their voices and putting it on. And the only music that I plan to use of theirs is the ones that are copyright free, so I'm not going to be breaking any rules with that. The opening was a copyright-free song because the band that did the song, Stereo Pony, they broke up and they're not really going after, like Sony Music or whatever, doesn't really go after anyone that uses their songs anymore because it's not really, I don't know. I just got lucky. I looked into it before we picked the opening song. That's something we considered because we're like, hey, you know, we don't want to get copyright on this video because we worked so hard on it. But it's like they can get upset, and to be honest, like with the YouTube, it's like if they wanted to take the monetization from the videos, I wouldn't really mind, because it's like, yeah, like I don't know, like I have a lot of things with Bleach. Like if I'm being like really honest, like after all this time, because like it's been a year since Bleach ended, and I've been working on the project. I haven't been. I say that I kind of want to further explain that as well, but like my feelings for Bleach are much different than they were a year ago. Naturally, because it's like it's become my work in a way. You know, like I've dissected it hundreds of times. I've reviewed it, not like, you know, Tensa and James and Tekking and all those guys. Like I've reviewed it. I've looked for all the issues. I've looked for things I need to address. I look for the things the fans want. Like I look for all that. I'm probably still gonna make some people upset and some people really happy, and then some people like they're like, oh, did you what? This isn't very Bleach-like. Nobody lost an arm. What's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, but like there's a lot of thought and put into it, and so Bleach became something in my mind, not like something I'm a fan of, but more so it's a creation that I review. Like you think about it differently. Like, you know, when you draw your own picture, like for those of you who draw, you draw your own picture and you can't really enjoy it properly, or you write your own story and you're looking at your story and you're just thinking about, man, I didn't like this part, or yeah, this part looks good. I'm thinking about like where I'm going to lead this to in like say the next chapter or something like that. You don't read it like how you read other people's creations, or you don't like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I got you.
But since I adapted Bleach and I kind of took it under my little wing, unrequested, but I did, it's how I think about it is completely different from a year ago. And it's so weird because when it was like, I heard that it's been a year since the manga ended, and I was like, it felt like it had been like 5 years, if I'm being honest.
See, I felt like, well, I guess for you, yes, it probably felt forever, but
well, it's been so
see,
long,
me,
and it's like I looked at Bleach every day, right? Looking at the project we're doing, writing, or I'm drawing things for it. We're looking at character designs, or like all that kind of stuff, and then it's like, whoa! By the way, it ended today, like a year ago. You're like, wow, that was like 561 Bleach conversations ago. Like it's kind of like that kind of thing.
yeah.
But I still like Bleach. I hope no one ever like thinks that I don't. Like I get tired of things, but like I mean I think everyone, like if I were to make you, you know, eat bagels every day, you'd probably be like, yeah, I like bagels, but I don't really want to. If you ask me, hey, what food do you want right now? You're not gonna say bagels. I don't know.
When you have too much, you still always like it. It's just
you burn yourself out, you know, a little bit.
Exactly.
You need a break from it. That's probably, if like I've explained before, I kind of like the podcast too because I get to say things like this, like in update videos. I try to be really formal in my videos, and I do writing for them, and like we write the script for the videos, and one thing I do with almost all my videos is because I'm an idiot or a perfectionist. I like getting them done all in one go, like.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. And you've edited 2 or 3 of my videos now, so you know that I do that.
You do it very straight through, whereas like for my videos, it would end up being 4 minutes of audio in the actual video, but my recording would take about 8 to 9. Based on
all the takes that you take out and all that.
Yeah.
I'd probably get the videos done a lot faster, but I go like this. I'm like, hey guys, it's Retro Ryno. Hey guys, it's Retro Ryno, and then I'll talk for like 30 seconds, and then I'll screw up, and then I'll start over again. Like, hey guys, it's Retro Ryno. Like, I don't know why I do it, and I kind of want to not do it. Maybe I'm just trying to avoid the editing by re-recording it until I don't actually have to edit the video.
That's what it sounds like.
It sounds like that, but it's also like something that's weird with me is like my voice changes every day kind of thing, and it's like I can't really replicate my tone or how I sound all the time.
Noticed.
Yeah, like
I noticed when editing, because you said, oh, you're gonna notice this in one of these videos, and I was like, nah, it's not gonna be that different. And then I played it, and it's like,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, on Tuesday you sound like that, and now on Thursday you sound like this. It's like, what happened?
And I can't really control it, which is the weird thing. Like I do, you guys, if you've heard my streams, I do a lot of voices, but like on some videos I'm like, hey guys, it's Retro Ryno here. I'm just talking about this. And other videos I sound like this. And then I can't really do the other ones, but you know, sometimes I sound like this, you know, like it's a little bit higher. Like it just changes to it, like how much I've talked that day, how tired I am, how much I don't know, yelled or
I feel
anything
like I
like that.
relatively sound the same every single
You
freaking
do.
day. So I do.
You do. Sometimes
I feel bad.
I was
I'm
listening
like,
to your
oh.
video once while talking to you, and I got confused to what was what, and it was like 2 years ago video, and I was like, wow.
Oh, rip.
You should hear. We were looking at my old videos today. Like I looked at me announcing the Bleach project video, from August 27th or something like that, and maybe 25th, 22nd. I think it was 22nd. I don't know. I think that was the day Bleach ended. I can't remember. But I was listening to it and I was like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna make this real quick. I'm redoing Bleach, and this is what I sound like. So you guys should be excited for it. So subscribe, and if you want to see other videos, subscribe." Oh wait, I said that. Oh, okay, bye. Like,
Comment, like, subscribe, and follow.
I never sounded like a squeaker. I just sounded like, "Hey guys, I'm really sick and dead." Like it was in the Q&A video. There's so many of my videos where I'm sick and trying to sound not sick because of how often I get sick. It's pretty crappy. But it's really funny because it's like I can't replicate my voice for the things, and sometimes I worry about that because I do the voice impressions, you know that, and I've really wanted to get into voice acting. That's something out of the two things I want to do. Well, okay, there's three things I want to do. I want to be a teacher. I want to be an animator, but the type of animators I want to be like an online animator so I can animate my own stuff, or I want to be a voice actor because I like doing voices. It's really fun. And the one thing that I'm worried about is if I were to ever do a voice in my own voice, like the one I'm using now, how inconsistent I would be. And they'd be like, "You sound like a different person from the recording yesterday." And I'd be like, "Yeah, that's kind of how I work. Sorry. You're fired." Oh, shit. Unless they want me to say, "Hi, Kermit the Frog here." Like I can do that kind of stuff consistently, but I can't do my own voice consistently.
Yeah, because I've always like thought randomly, like I was kind of surprised that you've never considered a bridge series too, just because of the way you're able to throw your voice.
I want to.
Impersonations. Like I thought, because like I'm friends with a couple of bridgers, and like they do really, you know, good stuff, and I'm just so I hear you and I'm just like, damn.
I'd love to do that type of stuff. I've been invited to do voice acting before for things, but I kind of, they were like little things, like somebody from my old animation program. They asked me to do like in like their animation, there was like a gay roommate to like a guy, and he was like, he wasn't gay with the dude that he was roommates to, but like the dude was like grabbing his ass, as a joke or whatever like that. And pretty much there's only one line of me in the entire episode. And it's just like really, it's just Ryan sounding like Eeyore, like, "Can you stop grabbing my ass?" Like kind of thing. Like he's a big burly man, like, "Don't touch my ass." Like just something like that. And that's all I was in there for. It was really funny. I think there's another thing. My friend, actually I shouldn't say his name. I have a friend who does a Pokemon, mystery dungeon type comic thing. And he does them animated on YouTube. And he's actually pretty good at it. And it's really funny because it's like not many people would associate me with that type of thing. But like I voice one of the Pokemon in his series. And Kurt okay, well now you know kind of his name.
God, I knew you were gonna do it too.
Damn! No, it's not a big deal.
It's like, give him a fake name.
Okay, his name is Bob. That's creative. But he does that, and I think I voiced, like, I think there's a Pokemon called Bitter Cold or something like that. Or it's like an ice Pokemon that looks like a rock. I don't know. I didn't keep up to date with Pokemon. The last generation I knew was like the fourth one. And then
This one I knew is the third.
The third one?
Probably.
Do you know the one with Dialga? And Palkia?
It sounds familiar.
The one with Chimchar and like Piplup and like Torterra,
none of that.
Turtwig.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
You really?
No.
You really?
I was gonna say.
thing, and you are older than me, so.
Last game. Well, yeah. I mean, the last game that I played was Ruby, so.
Ruby, I gotta say, Ruby was
worth,
really good. I liked Ruby.
Or like Sapphire was better, and I was like, nah, I like Ruby.
I'm good with Ruby. I like Ground On.
Same.
I
always liked him over the other one. And
Kyogre.
Yeah, Kyogre or something like that.
I used to always think of pierogies. There's a drawing where I did like a pierogi underwater, and I'm like, look, it's the legendary Pikmin.
What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, what? That's not. Oh, I get it. Kyogi, pierogi. It's funny. I was like a little smartass for so long. Well, I am now, but I'm just a big smartass.
You used to be.
I am. Well, I'm saying there's a difference. It's got the 6'3" smartass now. You ever notice that tall people? I feel bad about that because it's a little egotistical, but like tall people definitely throw around like their digits and height constantly. They're like, man, I'm 6'2". Man, I'm 6'3". Man, I'm 6'5". They're like, hey man, get in the car. Wow, I'm 6'5". I barely fit in here. Thanks for telling me there. Okay, sit down. Like, I don't know. I feel like with my tall friends, or when I see videos or like stories about tall people, like they always mention their height, and I do it too. So it's like, tall people really take pride in their height. I don't know.
Do all you tall people?
Yeah, I was gonna say you wouldn't know about that, would you?
I wouldn't know. Too bad.
The Tensa, he's not a tall guy, but he's got a big heart.
Aww.
I like Tensa. But a lot of things have changed over the past year, I would say. Like, it's crazy how different it is from when the project first started. I kind of use the project as a starting point for the channel. But in reality, I think my channel has been around since 2012. And I think you can look at my about and you'll see that. And you'll be like, well, where's the videos, you know? There were videos. No, most of them are deleted. And you'll also wonder, if you go and look at my channel URL, like the actual one, you'll notice Ryno's URL is Optimus Primer's. Why?
Boy.
I don't know if I've said it on streams before. The podcast is also kind of a chance for people who just watch videos and don't like streams. Because I know, I'll be honest, like a lot of streams, I ignore them because it's like, it's just a stream, you know? Like, you kind of just think of them as like a 2-bit video. Like, hey, I don't want to make a video, so here's a stream. Which is pretty much what they were. But no, I used to stream because of one, it kind of helps you work because you're like, I can't go and like, you know, goof off right now because everyone can see me working. So if I stop working, they know, right? And so I did it to kind of train myself and to keep myself focused so I could work harder. And also I liked talking to the people, and it also, like, I could make videos and keep people up to date, but without actually having to make videos because streams are so casual. So I think this is like a really good mix.
Definitely, I think. I mean, I like the streams though, just because I think that's how we kind of met. So it was through one of your streams. So
yeah, you hopped in, and I think you used to hop in when and James and Too Spooky would hop in, and they're like, "Oh, what is this bull crap?" Even though I'm watching,
Yeah, like, because I remember it was like you, Soul, and James, and I kind of popped in the chat, and James is like, "Oh, it's tense to put him in the chat," and I was like, "Oh, cool, okay."
Well,
remember, I was like, "Oh, this is neat. This is the first time I'm actually talking to this guy who's trying to bring Bleach back." I'm like, "All right, cool."
That is what I'm known for. It's crazy. Now I'm Optimus Primers again. Retro, going back to the old name. I've actually had a few names on YouTube. Originally, it was the Optimus Primus one, and that one had everyone's favorite type of video. I had Minecraft videos, and they were great. If you're 10. And
that's terrible.
It was pretty bad. After that, I started doing drawing videos because I had always been good at drawing, but I didn't have a means to record myself. And then my dad let me use a webcam from like 2004. So then I recorded myself drawing.
Whoa, watch out. And
this was in 2012, by the way. Or sorry, that was at 2013, I think, when I was doing that. So what was it? 2013, that's like 4 years ago. I was like 15, I guess. I'm turning 20 next year, like early next year. So the God, I'm turning 20. Oh God, that's horrible thing to say.
Cry about it.
Cry about it?
20. Oh my God, you poor thing.
Hey, you gotta admit, going from 19 to 20 is a big deal. You gotta admit.
It really isn't. It's not.
What? Hey.
I was gonna say
Okay,
it's the 21.
It's literally the last year you're ever gonna have teen in the name of how old you are. Like
doesn't matter. It
14,
really,
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You don't get a teen ever again until you're dead. And then you don't even get anything because you're dead.
It really doesn't matter.
It's pretty. I know everyone does that. Like, what is it? When you're 15, you're like, oh, I'm getting so old. I can drive next year. And then, like, the 20-year-olds are like, what? You think you're old? I'm ancient. And then, like, the 30-year-olds or the 26-year-olds are like, no, I'm ancient. You're like a little pup. And then the 50-year-olds are like, you're a pup. It's like everyone does it. If you're just older, you're like, you're young. I'm old. And it's like, well, actually, I'm the oldest I've ever been. So to me, I'm the oldest I've ever been. So, you know, I mean, everyone does it, but
oh yeah,
it's kind of like
it's a long chain of complaining about how old we are.
Everyone is just relatively, I don't know, annoyed.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I don't know. If you could, what would you say if you could be stuck at one age forever? What would it be?
Say 21's a good, because you get now you basically can do anything.
Oh yeah, you're in America, so you can drink and stuff now, can't you?
Yeah.
We can drink at 19 in Canada. So
being Canadians, I mean,
are you gonna say
teen
something?
here, we can join the army, but we can't get a beer, so
you can go be like legally killed.
You can go get yourself killed, yeah.
But no consumption of alcohol. Yeah. Hey, you can also buy a gun and legally kill someone if they're on your property or something like that, you know. But it's like, you
better not have an open container beer in your hand.
Hey, no Bud Light, no Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Mike.
Otherwise, you're a criminal.
Don't crack open that wine cooler, or else you're gonna get a fine.
Funny thing about me, I didn't try alcohol ever. The first time I drank alcohol was this August.
That was last month.
Yep.
What?
I'm 19, yeah. Never had alcohol before. And the thing is, all I did was I tested some wines at a winery. That's all I've ever had.
So you've never gotten...
I've never been drunk. But...
Never been drunk?
No, I've never been drunk. I've never gotten even a buzz. All I did was I got a stomachache because I've discovered that red wine and me do not mix.
Oof.
Like, it's like, I felt like I was drinking Buckley mixed with tree. Like, that's what it tasted like.
Wine is pretty awful. I won't lie.
Like, everyone's
I'm not a wine
person. Oh, wine is, well, like, it's so civilized, you know, and it feels so, I don't know.
I'm going to drink it and swish it and pinky out and all that. Like, it's...
Yeah, and they kept telling me, they're like, you need to swish it. I'm like, can I just swig it? Like, can't I just drink it?
Can I just chug it in one gulp and be done with it? Like,
it's like a 7-Up, right? Your nose is going to bubble.
Exactly.
Yeah. But... I mean, like, the concept of alcohol is really appealing. Like, oh, crack open a cold one with the boys, you know? But, like...
It's very overrated, in my opinion.
It's overrated.
It's overrated.
Like, the idea of it is really, like, cool.
Like...
But do you even have the boys?
I only do it a couple months. What? Of course.
Oh, of course. Sorry.
Like, why? You just think that I just... drink alone?
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah, you're an asshole.
No,
I mean it. I usually, I mean, it only happens probably. I only do it, like once every 4 months or so because it's not fun.
It's not
fun. It's like
doesn't look fun.
I will back in April to visit some friends for the NFL draft and. They're like, oh, we're going to make a drinking game of the draft. And I was like, I'm not really thinking I'm going to be drinking tonight. Well, 32 picks later, got pretty bad. It got
Did you
really
get shit
bad.
faced?
Yeah, kind of. I did not feel good the next morning, and then I had to drive. I had to drive back home 4 hours.
With a hangover, or were you drunk?
Yes, it was. I was hungover. It was bad.
That's bad. I don't know. Like I've people have been. It's kind of weird. It's one of those things. Like I hate it when people are like, I don't know. They push you into doing something even though they don't. They're like, oh yeah, it's so shitty, and they tell you about it, and you're like, oh, I've never done it. Oh, you gotta do it. What?
That's how I feel. I'm a little hypocritical because I'm like, you're like, oh, I've only drank last month, and I'm like, oh, holy crap! But at the same time,
Dude,
I'm like,
you need to drink more.
Still not...
And
I
then,
feel like you have to experience it. It's like something. It's just.
I don't know.
So,
like I look at it and it's like, I'm not going to pretend like my opinion is law or mine is best or anything, but just this is what my view is. It's an expensive habit that you're not initially bound to because it's an acquired taste. So you literally need to make yourself like it, or at least be able to not despise it. And it can also get you arrested, get you in a car crash. It makes you sick if you drink too much, and it's actual poison for your body. Now that's
not fun.
So it's like, sounds like a great idea. I'm going to pass. But the other thing is a lot of people are like I ask them, why do you drink it? And they're like, well, they get a buzz and it like helps them enjoy things more. Like at a party, it makes it a lot more interesting and fun. Right?
I guess it depends on what kind of drunk you become.
But here's the thing. Whenever I go to parties and stuff, like I went to my old staff party when I went at Denny's, the Christmas party, everyone's like, Ryan's drunk. And I'm like, I haven't had a drop. I'm just like hyperactive. So sorry.
I was going to say, so I can't imagine.
Trying to imagine what drunk
would
Ryan would be. Holy crap.
Imagine.
Yeah, that's what I'm also kind of scared of. Like, what's Ryan going to do when he's drunk, you know?
I was gonna say you'd probably be you're already a goof, so you'd probably be like freaking 100 times that.
Tell me what you really think.
I mean,
it's true. It's true though.
You're silly, so you obviously are. It's just like, again, that would be like, it would be regular you times
50, but like
100.
minus 10 brain points.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like my friends always tell me that I become way too talkative. I know you're surprised. Everybody is surprised. Everyone who's listening is surprised. But
we need you to get drunk on stream calls.
Going.
Hey, so what did you think about Shonogeki? That was great, man. Like, holy crap, that new chapter. I'm gonna talk about it right after this topic. Yeah, my chair from Staples. Like,
oh my god.
I really feel like
it's.
I feel like I should have. I'm thinking about it now. Like I had a lot of topics in my head, and I was like, I'm not gonna write them down because like they're in my head, and also like we transition really well between topics. But as we focus on the other ones and we tangent, I'm like, what was I gonna talk about again? I was just focusing on Drunk Tyler.
Oh. And about Bleach again? Maybe
oh
it was
yeah. Let me. So
let me tell the chair story again.
First episode's coming real soon, guys. Please don't get mad. I guess there is one more thing I could say about that. It's just with the with the channel. I guess I wanted to talk about as well what type of YouTuber I want to be. Like I don't know if I've ever really addressed that. I think it'd be like a nice time for you guys to hear that. Like I was just burping there. People get mad. I feel really bad. I'm tangenting here. Morty, you're an asshole, Morty. Oh, Jerick, you know. You're not very nice. Anyway, I can't help myself. If somebody's like, whenever I burp, ever, you can ask Tyler or my friends. If I burp, I say Morty after it.
You do.
Even when I'm in public, and people
the
look
first couple times, and then when you start doing it for like 10 minutes straight, it gets. I'm like,
Morty. And you're like,
it's not even the Morty. It's more just like you're just doing it, and you're just like, oh, burp. I'm just like, oh, that was nasty.
That was there's a rumble in the room now.
You're not farting on stream. Yeah, no. That's fine.
No. Like from the burp, not from. I don't fart. I'm Kim Jong-un. No. I don't even poop. You know they think that he doesn't poop. I heard that. I don't know if it's true.
He's God.
Well, yeah, but like, why would you like, man, we can convince them that you can fly. We can say that you can have like lasers from your eye. Tell them I don't poop. Like,
It was like his first on his list. And he's like, tell him number one, tell him I don't poop. Number two, tell him that I'm God.
Perks of being a god. I don't shit. It's great. I save money on toilet paper.
The whole audience is like, oh, wow.
Whoa, whoa, man, I hate pooping. Can I be a god? Man.
Oh, no. Now I feel a little racist.
Oh, no, they're not dumb. It's just like, the situation is really unfortunate, and it's like, you know, a lot, like, if I were to like, I was raised to think that my dad could take his thumb off, okay?
You idiot.
You don't get it until someone explains it to you or you figure it out. They don't have any other reason. I don't know. Probably a lot of them don't even believe it. I don't know the situation. It's really hard not to tread into controversial things because those are the funny ones.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, oh, here's an opinion that's like...
Going back to dark humor. That's where...
I hope we don't seem too much like I've started to worry. Oh, my throat's running really dry. This never happens. But I'm like, I'm wondering if they're going to think we're like prudes or something like that. Because we're like, yeah, dark humor, no. Alcohol, no. Swearing, a pootie pie, that's bad. Like, whereas, I mean...
Good, it's fine. Drinking, it's fine. Again, we're not...
Pootie pie, no. No. We're not trying to, I feel like we got to say, I don't condone this after everything, but I don't know. That's kind of a good topic to discuss upon. You feel free to like butt in whenever you want, but one of the things wrong with the streams too is when I would stream by myself, I usually was like really appropriate, no swearing at all, and I would never do that. And I would be like, hey, we're keeping it, you know, educational, kids could watch, that type of thing. And it was a goal of mine. Like, I wanted to be able to do that, say, like, I wouldn't be ashamed if, like, somebody played this out of school, or if I had to watch it in front of, like, my grandma or something like that, even though she's not my demographic. It's just not something I would be ashamed of, right?
I would think that you wouldn't show that kind of thing, though.
Obviously you wouldn't, but I'm saying...
You would show people in schools or to your grandma that you would be like, oh, here's this video that I uploaded, and it's, you know, you doing a speed draw or one of your animations. Someone's gonna be like, Grandma, check out the stream I did back in April.
Yeah.
And I do this one thing. Like, no, that's...
But sometimes they click on it. Like, what was it? It's something that was a worry of mine because it's like, I have a lot of different sides to me. I'm super diverse, like crazy. It's great. But like sometimes like, I'm perfectly talking about whatever you need, like whatever you want. And like my opinion, like, I don't know. I go from so family friendly to like, yeah, I'll yuck it up about a joke about somebody getting ran over by a bus or something like that. Or I'll be like, haha, let's joke about that girl's boobs or something like that. You know, like it's such extremes, and it's not like, and like we can be anywhere in the middle as well. It's not like I'm either super inappropriate or super family friendly. It's like I can go either way. I'm comfortable in every position. Someone's going to take that out of context. But I'm like, not the right choice of words given the topic. But it was something that became a worry on streams, especially when I would invite other people, because I felt bad. Like, I would invite you into my stream. I'm like, by the way, control how you talk, you know? Especially with Jake and James. James is like dropping like F-bombs here left and right and the C word, and it's like, oh, thanks, James. There goes either my monetization or my entire child crowd or something. Well, no, they'll just want to watch it more. Then their parents will be like, my kid is so inspired by you, and here's a video of you saying you wanted to suck like someone's penis or something like that. And it's like, hey, I was just kidding. And they're like, well, my child doesn't know that. Now they're repeating you. And it's like, oh man. And one of the things is because I've gotten a lot of chances to do things. And one of the things, if you remember from earlier in the podcast, I said, is I wanted to be a teacher, you know? And I go back, I've maintained a relationship with a lot of my teachers from like high school and one from elementary school. My favorite teacher ever, I have two favorite teachers. One of them that, like, I'm going to call them different because they're favorites in different regards. My favorite teacher, I have to say, like, first one was Miss Lack, and she was my elementary teacher, and she taught me in grade 3. I kind of came from the school I came from before that was really, really bad. Like, did I ever tell you the story with my teacher named Miss Sharon?
Sounds familiar.
She was the one that pulled me by my ear, and she would kick me out of class, and she gave the 100-word spelling tests. And there was this one time where we had toys back in grade 2, right? And they were over by there's like a table on the left side of the class. And during recess and lunch, you could go and play with the toys. You could bring them outside. You just put them back after, right? And there was a Pikachu toy, and I really, really liked Pikachu as a kid.
I was gonna say, I've heard this, yeah.
Yeah. So now they're gonna hear it. Sorry. But what she would do is there was this one time I took the Pikachu toy at recess, and I wanted to play with it at lunch because I didn't get it at the beginning of recess. And I'm like, I want to be Pikachu, because I would play with my friends, and they would take like there was like a monkey and a dinosaur, and it was like, and Pikachu's the one I like. And so I took the Pikachu and I put it in the cubby in my desk. You know, when you're a kid, you have those little shelves inside your desk.
Yeah.
Back when you could fit in the desks. Now it's like they're freaking like little stools. But anyway, I put the Pikachu in my desk, and one of the people I played with, she was horrible. I can't believe she did this to me. I had a friend named Rebecca, and she was like looking over at the desk late in the middle class, and she's like, "Whoa!" She's like, "Where's the Pikachu?" Because she knew, like, I wanted to play with the Pikachu. I guess I don't know. She didn't think grade 2, you're stupid. I don't know. And I'm like, "Oh." She's like, "Where's the Pikachu?" I'm like, "Hey, I already got it." So while Miss Sharon's talking and not looking, I pull the Pikachu out of my desk and show Rebecca. I'm like, "Look, I have it." And then she shoots her hand up and it's like, "Miss Sharon, Ryan stole your Pikachu." And I was like, "What?" And then she comes over. I'm holding the Pikachu. She slaps my hand. I drop the Pikachu, and she goes, "Bad." And she's like, "No stealing." And she kicked me out of the class. And I was like, no, I just wanted to play with it at lunch. I was just making sure no one else got it. And she was like, "That's bad." And I was like, "What the heck?" I had to get the principal to let me back in the class because she locked the door. It was horrible. And I'm getting a little off topic, but this is, it's a little history on Ryan. There is no topic. I was going on to Mrs. Lankin being my favorite teacher and all that, but probably one of the worst things as well is we had a problem with the boys peeing on the bathroom floor, right? Like they would miss the urinal or something like that, and they were really gross. It was a bad scene. And so she had a thing on the blackboard over the coats in the back, like the closet room. What would the coat room? Whatever we call it, coat cubby. But there was a blackboard that would like scroll down over all the coats and the boots and stuff. And when you went to the bathroom, you had to put your name on the blackboard, like you were the last person to go, and because they were trying to find out who was doing it. But what they didn't think about is there's a whole bunch of different classes that use the same washrooms, you know? And
you're not the only class using that freaking bathroom.
Yeah.
There's probably like 3 others.
Miss Sharon decided that didn't matter. So I go to the washroom. I'm the last person to go. Then the next guy goes like about 25 minutes later, like I think it was Noah J. And he goes to the bathroom. He comes back right immediately. And he goes, "Miss Sharon, somebody peed on the floor." And she's like, "Well, who's the last person on the list?" And they're like, "It's Ryan." It wasn't me. I didn't even use urinals. I was too scared. Because I'm like, what if somebody sees my no-no, So I was like, I didn't even use the changing rooms until I was like in grade 7. Like I was really shy as a kid. Like I would go inside the stall and change. Like I wouldn't change out with everyone else. It was like, I was a dork. But, so she's like, "Oh, so it was Ryan." So you know what she does? Being the great grade 2 teacher she does, she goes to the blackboard at the back and she writes, "Ryan peed on the bathroom floor," in big, big letters.
What a bitch.
And it's like, do you know how to traumatize a kid? Like, she was good at that.
That's like, I don't like it when teachers like children.
Bad elementary school teachers can screw up a kid for life.
Absolutely.
And
I mean, I've had that happen. I mean, math teacher who would do that, like, where I wasn't getting it. Like, she was just a bad teacher, and she would just
blame you.
I wouldn't get it, and she would blame me. She'd be like, "Why aren't you getting this? Are you stupid?" And I was like,
I had a teacher who did that.
What is your
Mr. M.
problem?
He asked me. This was in high school though, and he was the first teacher I had that would swear openly to the class. In high school, the teachers are kind of allowed to do that though. Like they're allowed to say like damn and hell and all that, and like shit and all that, all those naughty words. And it was that I was doing the math question in front of the class. He was just like, he's like, let me ask you something in return, Ryan, because I asked him a question about the problem we were doing. And he's like, let me ask you something in return. He's like, how did you make it this far? And I'm like, huh? And he's just like, if you can't think for yourself that much, he's like, how did you make it this far? And I'm like, that's not something you say to a student. And I wasn't a dumb student.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's pretty crappy. Definitely the worst thing Miss Sharon did, though, is she had a husband that everyone liked. And what was that? He would read to us. And he had a missing leg. And he had like an amputee leg, or sorry, the artificial. And so everyone liked him. But the thing is, he got his leg cut off from cancer and all that. Like Terry Fox kind of thing. And what Miss Sharon did once is everyone kept complaining about her. And so she got a warning from like the principal and all that kind of thing. So she sat down everyone in the class the next day. And she's like, look, you guys can't keep complaining about me, because that means if you guys complain about me, that means I lose my job. And with my job, I use the money I get from my job to buy medicine for my husband who has cancer. So
she
did. And she said, if I don't buy him the medicine for his cancer because I don't have the job, he'll die. And that will be your guys' fault.
Oh my God.
We were in grade 2, Tyler. And so she said that.
And she almost basically said, if you don't stop, my husband will die.
And we all liked her husband because he was nice. And so it's like, we can't kill him.
That's
so everyone
horrible.
stopped complaining about her until she got so bad. And like, I used to come home crying from school. Like, I could have turned out really bad. But the next year we moved and I got my teacher, Miss Lack. And, that was just what the doctor ordered. Like, she was such a good teacher. Like, she used to do this really nice thing with me. It's really funny because I saw her again at the beginning of summer. And she hadn't seen me. Like, we became she became like a family friend. Like, she even came to one of my birthday parties when I was a kid. It was like, she was really cool. And she hadn't seen me in like 8 years-ish kind of thing. Maybe. Probably a little bit less because I think I popped in once to say hi. But like, life continues on, right? And last time she saw me, I was like this little kind of shrimpy kid, right? And here's that height quotation again. And now I come in, I'm at her new school. She's the vice principal at like a new school and all that. And I'm like way taller than her. I'm like, because I'm 6'3" if you didn't know. And I've got like I've got a beard and mustache, and I look old, and I got a deep voice and all that, and it's like it's like a way to make someone feel old, Like, he's the little kid I taught, and now he's like a full-grown man type thing, and it's like way to kind of like remind you how old you're. But she didn't look any different. She just looked, because she was really, really, really skinny when she taught me. She just looked a little bit like more full. I like, not fat or anything, but like she just looked like normal weight, I guess. That was literally the only difference from like when she taught me 10 years prior. It was 10 years because she taught me in grade 3. I would have been in grade 13 if grade 13 exists. So after I graduated, the year next, I went and said hi to her. And I can tell you that was such a good day. It was just a spur of the moment visit as well. But she used to do these things when I was in her class when I was a kid. I told you I liked Pikachu and all that. And I told her that I liked Pokemon a lot as well. And she had these Pokemon books that she bought for her class. And I was trying to get better at reading and stuff. I wasn't a slow learner. Like, when I was in grade 2 or 3, I gotta say, though, Miss Sharon class definitely kept me above the rest of the kind of kids from other schools kind of thing, because she was so hard on us. But I was like in a gifted program type thing, I wasn't in a gifted program, but I got tested and I was allowed to skip like to grade 5 when I was in grade 3. But as I got older, I kind of like leveled out and became stupid. So it's kind of like, it's truthful. Like, I'm in math class in grade 9 and I'm like, what the hell is this? and everyone else is like, don't you get it?
I feel like that is literally the reverse for me.
You were really dumb as a kid, and then you're like
through
genius.
Elementary school. I mean, they didn't. I won't say it was the special class, but they put me in a group of kids when I was in kindergarten,
boy.
and it was more because they said that I wouldn't talk. I was scared.
Just give him alcohol.
Give that little kid some 6-year-old some alcohol.
Get him drunk.
And it was that, but it was it was only like I did that for like a little bit, and then they took me out of there. But then I was always like, because I didn't like those. Oh, call on Tyler. He's read this little passage of,
and you couldn't do it.
The Three Little Pigs or something, and I didn't want to do it because I was too scared.
Yeah,
to read in front of people, and that was just how it always was. And then I kind of opened up a little bit, but like throughout elementary school, it was I'm grasping everything. Like it was just, I don't know. Like I wasn't very good at school, and then I think I hit junior high. Yeah, I hit junior high, and I just by the end, I was on like we had a thing called National Honor Society, and that's that whole thing where
we have honor roll.
You take. Oh, you do too. Okay, yeah. So I don't know for anybody that listens if they
what country you're in.
Yeah, and we had that, and I mean out of our 150 or so people, I mean I was 20th, so
that's pretty good.
So I was pretty high up there, so it got by the end, yeah. So that was by like the end of my senior year. I was pretty high up on the scale, so it's just I think that's funny that
we were kind of I didn't become
good, smart, but
all right, because I took it again when I was in high school. I don't want people thinking I became dumb. I think it's because I became uninterested in everything, and I'm pretty sure I've got like ADD or ADHD or something like that. But I'm not gonna really
just gonna say that. I was gonna be like, would you have ADD or something like that?
Yeah, funny enough, my grade 1 teacher from the same school as Miss Sharon tried to put me on Adderall without my parents knowing.
Jesus.
Yeah. Because she used to say, like, she had to glue me to my seat because I was so hyper and I wanted to do stuff really bad. And I think her son also had ADHD or something like that. And then my parents found out and they got really mad. And it's really unfortunate, too, because I really liked that teacher. But it's like, oh, you don't do that, lady. Come on.
Yeah, that's...
At the time, I was like, oh, she's going to help me. And then my parents are like, what? I'm like, oh, she says I'll be able to work better. And calm down.
She's gonna give me these pills, and it's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, she said, "Don't tell your."
There's that one specific thing. What did she tell me? Oh yeah, don't tell mom and dad.
Okay, you didn't hear this from me.
Oh.
The cat told you.
Talk. We never had this conversation.
Hey, you forget it. Like I hold like a freaking crayon to their throat. You forget everything I just told you.
It's a red crayon. You forget everything you just heard.
Or else I will never eat my vegetables again.
Just like, oh no.
Couldn't threaten her. That's funny. But with Miss Lack though, she had these books. Oh, I was talking. Yeah, I was gonna say how in school I got tested. They're like, you're still smart. You just don't focus on anything and you don't really commit or do your work type thing. So it's like I can still figure stuff out if I actually like try, or if I'm being like put on the spot. I always did good on tests. But I never did good on homework or ever did the homework. But my worst subject definitely is math. I'm not going to lie. I'm not good at math.
I can't believe that. Because I love math. I think math is one of my favorite. I know.
What's wrong with you?
I've told other people before. That's my favorite kind of subject. Just, I don't know. I enjoy figuring out the problem. I don't.
Oh, good luck with your channel. I'm kidding. I'm so sorry.
I hate you.
I love you though.
No, but
no.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you were good at
math. Preferred it over other classes. I don't like. I'm not a big like literature person. I don't.
I was 50-50 on literature. Like I was like, I feel smart when I write good stories and stuff, or I feel like I'm good at this. I was good with coming up with stuff. The thing is, I'm just so casual about everything. Like they're like, you got a really good idea and foundation here. You just don't. It's pretty much like how I am with the Bleach project. And that's why I'm glad I have all my friends and helpers and stuff, because they helped me get my crap together. But I would say my favorite, obviously besides art, I liked social studies because I liked knowing facts, because facts are like, you just remember a fact, you know? Like with the Napoleon unit and with the Hudson Bay stuff, like for Canada, learning about the history of Canada and all that, which isn't really much, but the stuff we did learn about, it was really cool. And it wasn't super, like, it was very different. We learned so much about American history, and it's kind of like, we're not American. Why are we learning about this? But it's like,
Because we're America.
Because we don't teach you that you're not as good as Canada, or you're not as good as America, then they're going to nuke us. So, bye. Go read up on America. And, oh my gosh, do they drill World War II into you? Oh, it's so, like... They really overdo it.
They did that even in college for me.
Why?
I know. I
don't know what their fascination.
I don't know what the fascination is with World War II. I don't know.
They're like, it's super important subject, and it's like they treat. I don't know. The curriculum just decided, here's some things that we think are super important: Shakespeare, World War II, and current events. Current events, I think is good and important, but. And I guess like and Aboriginal stuff now as well. I liked learning about the Aboriginal stuff. That was pretty cool. But we got to go out into it like a teepee and all that, and it's pretty nice. But anyway, back to Miss Lack. She would do this thing where when I was a kid, and I don't know, she really was trying to support me and all that. And she had the Pokemon books, and I remember. I started watching Pokemon back then too while I was in her class, and I remember the first day I watched Pokemon, I came home from her class and we looked up on YTV or when it was going to show, because you couldn't really record everything you wanted back then. You'd need to use like a VCR. And oh man, memories. So I kind of it was nicer back then, but it's more convenient now. But it was like there's some aesthetic that's just lost today. Anyway, I sound old. I sound so old. I'm a millennial. But
Poor you.
The first episode of Pokemon was like the Charizard versus Articuno, and it was like, this is a legendary Pokemon, so I'm like, I am really not on the first episode, but whatever. But Miss Lack used to give me her Pokemon books if I read them like enough times. Like I read the one about Ash goes to the ghost house, and the Gengar and the Haunter and the Ghastly, they take him from his body and all that. And like I read that one, and the one where he's with, it's funny because I remember them like the back of my hand, but like this is over 10 years ago. I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but I remember that. It was really good memories though. It was I kind of felt bad because when I saw her and I was like talking to her, I'm like, but what do I say? You know, you haven't seen this person in like many years. You're completely different. You weren't adults initially, right? So like, what am I going to talk to her about? Oh, my mom made me this for dinner. You know, you can't do that type of thing anymore. So it's like, and then it's like, hey, remember this? That's really all you can do. It's like, I'm interested, and I'm actually, she offered me to come back and volunteer because she's becoming the principal at a new school. She's told me I could come and volunteer at the school. And that's really cool. So I think I'm going to try and do that with my free time. And I also, what was it? When we were talking, I started being like, hey, do you remember this kind of thing? And she was like, wow, you literally remember everything. And I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, what does that mean? What does this mean? But then again, it's kind of like, she was a really important teacher to me. And she's like taught like probably 100 kids since me. So it's like, I don't blame her kind of thing. But it was like, you're kind of like, this is a person that changed my life. And then you're kind of like, oh yeah. Then I exited their life, and then they dealt with like 100 more me's type thing.
I was gonna say, you only dealt with, you know, a handful of other teachers, but she dealt with hundreds upon hundreds of other
I only
kids,
gotta remember, like, because up until like high school, you didn't really use other teachers. Like, that was the system we had. Like, Mrs. Lack would teach us math. She would teach us science. She would teach us PE. Like, she'd bring us outside. Like, that's how elementary schools worked, at least back then. I don't know if they still do it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much? Okay. Because I don't know how it
How
is in
mine
America.
was too. I mean, we had one teacher, and I mean, sometimes you would switch. Like, if we had different math classes, like there were different levels, and you would go to another teacher, and they would teach math.
We'd do everything in the same
That was
class,
kind of
and you'd have the same class with you'd have everyone in your class. Only people you'd have class with, unless they did like sports day, and then you'd see the other classes. It was pretty sucky though if you had a crush in like another class, because then you'd never get to see them unless like lunch.
I was gonna say, you see him in lunch, and you wave across 4 different tables.
We didn't have those. We didn't have cafeterias. Not until high school.
What, and took it back to your classroom?
No, we ate outside.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Well, that's better. That's better than a cafeteria. Cafeterias suck.
Yeah. Although the school I went to, I don't want to give too much information if people find it. Well, it's not a big thing. The elementary school I went to was beside a was beside a highway, so air quality.
Yeah.
But it's just coming off the highway, so it wasn't that bad. But it's also like there's times where I used to play soccer every day, recess and lunch, and whenever someone kicked the ball over the fence, we're like, that ball is so freaking gone, because like then we'd see a truck hit it, and we'd hope like maybe it'll hit it back over, but it's like, no, it just straight up murdered it. Damn.
Killed by a tractor trailer. Oh no.
Rest in peace.
Well.
Oh man, I don't know, something about this and with the channel and all that. The reason I've explained to a lot of people before why my name is Retro Ryno. Where did the retro thing come from? They're like, do you like old games and stuff? I like old games a lot. That's probably the first thing that comes to mind. But I'm just a nostalgic. Like, is that the word? Nostalgic? Is it like?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I can word good. Could have skipped to
Word
grade
speak
5. Yeah,
I got to skip 2 grades. I was that smart.
Wow. But pretty much, yeah. I named it myself that because, like, I don't know. I find a lot of pleasure and a little bit of sadness remembering things, because it's like, wow, you know, it's just it's indescribable. It's a good thing. Like, you're like thinking it back like eons ago, what it feels like. I'm not even that old, so I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, think about when I'm 40 and I'm remembering stuff from like when I was in my teens. Like, you hear people, like old people talk, and you kind of just hear it, and you're like, they're like, yeah, when I was your age. But it's like, there's so much power behind that statement that no one really tries to think about or grasp, and you can't really do it unless it's your own. Like,
yeah.
They've done 20 years or 30 years worth of stuff since then. Like, that must be so real, like how long ago that was, and thinking about it. And like, when you have memories you haven't thought about in so long, like I remember from when I was at that elementary school, there is a spider we named Archie. And we chased him around all recess long, and then Noah stepped on him and killed him. And so we got a piece of paper towel from the bathroom. I remember I ran to the bathroom and got paper towel, and the brown paper towel. And we went out and we got a stick and we dug him a grave by a specific tree.
Oh my god.
And we put him in the napkin and made him a little coffin. And we put Archie the spider into the grave and then buried him. And we put a little stick there to mark where he was.
How'd you deal with the murderer?
Huh? I'm pretty sure we were like, Noah! Like, you killed him! Like, pretty much kid reactions. I never really got into fights or anything. I didn't hit people when I was younger. I just pretty much was like, oh, I'm gonna beat them up. I'm like 5'4". I'm tallest kid in class. I was the tallest kid in class until like grade 7.
Oh my god, I'll bet you were.
I was really, really tall back then, but then it kind of evened out. But then I kind of got a little bit extra height, and then in grade 9 I was super tall. But then in grade 10 everyone kept growing. Grade 11 everyone growing. 12 I'm like, they're kind of catching up to me, but not so much. But they're in relative to where I was to them in grade 9. They're like, ha, you're not so tall now. And I'm like, no, I was too super tall back then. Now I'm just tall. So screw you. Thanks for ruining my picnic. kind of crappy. I don't know. I haven't grown much for a long time. I think it's because I don't sleep. Maybe that's it.
I don't think that's how it works.
A lot of people say it's genetics and you can't really alter it or change it. But I don't know.
I mean, but I've thought about that. But then I think, my cousin, who is 2 years younger than me, is way taller than me.
It's not that hard.
I remember. I'm not that short. It's not like I'm.
And the guy with the blue
5'2".
shirt knows that it's $22.88. I'm sorry. Continue.
I hate you again. But no, it's just funny to think. Like, I always remember when we were kids, like we would hang out a lot, and taller one. It's just funny. Then we see each other again after all these years, and then he doesn't tower over me, but he's definitely taller than me, and I'm just like, oh, this is kind of weird.
It's very surreal to see people
interact with people who are younger than me, and it feels very awkward.
I know what you're talking about. I would actually get mad and not be friends with people sometimes if they were taller than me. It was something really stupid I did. Like, I didn't like people being taller than me because it was like something I could hang my hat on, and I didn't really have, like, I was in no position to be turning friends away, to be honest, as well. But it's not that I wouldn't be friends with them on purpose. Well, it wasn't like I would not be friends with them on purpose, but I would feel bad because they took away the thing that made me special, type thing. Because like when I would hang out with them, like people would be like, "Oh, Ryan's super tall. Ho, that's the one thing, the trait that you have that makes you special." Like the kid that always wears the red cap, and then they get another kid that wears the red cap, and it's like, that's my thing. Like,
I'm the red cap kid.
Hey, I'm the tall kid. And he's like, well, I'm the taller kid, so get out of town. Like, it's kind of like mosey on out, Ryno.
Whoa, we got a taller kid. Who are you again?
I wouldn't say that. I want to take that back. I'm not. I didn't avoid being friends with them. They just made me feel bad, and so I didn't really feel comfortable with them. I was like a little dog, but like a really big little dog that's like, oh, now I'm a shrimp. But like the other dog has only like got an inch on them, and the other dog's like, don't worry about it, bro. But the little dog's like, I'm mad. I'm gonna bark until 4 a.m. But yeah, no, we've been going for an hour and 32 minutes.
That's 32. Damn,
that's impressive. How long are these supposed to happen or go?
It depends, really. I've listened to podcasts that go on for a couple hours. I've seen some that only go on for a little over an hour.
I think we got a little bit left. I don't know about you. I know I've talked most of the podcast. I feel a little bad about that.
Yeah. No, you're good. You are good.
Oh, that's good. All right, so back to the chair.
No, let's... Tell me more about that chair.
The chair.
What kind of rich premium
leather? It was
leather?
black leather. My favorite. Once you go black, you never go back. Hey. Oh, I think one of the things that I know, I'm very aware of something I do is I'll start talking about something and it'll remind me of something else, and I'm like, all right, now I gotta talk about that because I won't remember it. So it's like, all right, so the chair. Oh yeah, Best Buy. Yeah, I trolled this Best Buy guy once. Oh yeah, I trolled this guy at my school once. Oh yeah, my old teacher. They abused me. Oh yeah, my new teacher. I like them a lot. Oh yeah, I want to be a teacher. Oh yeah, the Bleach project's canceled. Oh, whoop.
Bleach. I'm tall. Oh wait, wait. Something about a chair.
Yeah, it all comes full circle. But one of the things I wanted to talk about that's definitely, I don't want to say more on topic, but it's more like, I guess, to do with the channel, not just me. Like it's more on topic with the channel. Is on the swearing thing and all that. I wanted to have like a channel that anyone could watch, but I also, like, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm not a person who's appropriate all the time. And although I really want to respect the people who aren't okay with hearing that type of thing or don't want to hear that type of thing from me, like their family member or close friend or I don't know, maybe they're religious and it offends them or something. Not because they're religious, but like they they're like, oh, this isn't the type of thing I want to be watching, like, you know, that kind of thing. I wish I could like appeal to everyone, and that's something I've always had. Like, I always want to make everyone happy. I wanted everyone to be my friend, unless they were taller than me. It's really hard, and I've been trying to make decisions about it. I'm like, hey, you know, like, I want to be appropriate, but also like, I want to do stuff that I like too, because not everything I like is appropriate. Like, I'm like, hey, I could do a lot better on YouTube if I put like boobs in my thumbnail or something like that, you know? But it's like, I don't do that because I don't want to be categorized in there. But it's also like, I'm not a person who is offended or minds that type of thing, and I don't plan to do that with every video. But I feel like once someone sees that from me, and it has happened before, people are like, well, you're that type of person, you know? They kind of write you off. And it's happened a few times with my channel already. And because I originally shared the channel, I was much younger. And I didn't really have an interest in anything like that. But now I kind of feel like, well, those people are watching. And I don't want to disappoint them or offend them. And there's also like new people that like I meet that I don't want to alienate. Like I did back in summer, I taught some kids, some middle school, elementary kids. I taught them animation at a summer school. And the guy who hired me to do it, he was all over my YouTube channel kind of thing. He's like, this is great. And he's like, show the kids. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to. I had a lot of things that I could show them. Like in my videos, I don't swear in any of my videos, right? There's
you
not...
script them out so that you don't
Well,
swear,
yeah, I also don't naturally swear too much. Like when I'm being casual with my friends, yeah, I'll be like, oh, this effing guy, he was so annoying, like that kind of thing. Like I'll do that casually. It's unfortunate that's a casual word for me now, but it's how it is. And I didn't actually swear until I was 17.
Jesus.
Yeah. I didn't swear.
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, my girlfriend dumped me.
Well, that'll do it.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Push you over the edge.
Ooh, that biscuit-eating bird. There comes a point. But
just do it because...
and so I showed them the Deadpool and Logan video. They just ate it up. Like I kept hearing them play it and then ha ha ha, ha and chuckling. I'm like, they like that. And now I'm like, next time I stream, I'm gonna make a joke about someone's dick or something like that, and they're gonna hear it because they just subscribed, and they're gonna see everything, and like I'm gonna see these kids again, and they're gonna be like,
"Guy's not qualified to teach us. He talks about dicks."
No, I think they would just repeat it to my boss type thing. Even though I told my boss, like, I'm like, Laz, I'm like, I'm not always appropriate on my channel. I hope you know that. And he goes, it's fine. He's like, they watch PewDiePie and stuff, which is really funny because of what's recently happened. But it's like it's like kids today, they've already heard that. Like when I was in kindergarten, people didn't swear. I didn't hear anyone really swear until like well, my parents swore a little bit. Like they'd be like, oh shit, or something like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing really more than that, or what the hell, or damn it.
For me, I started watching South Park like when I was in...
I can tell you did.
Second grade, probably. I did. I was in second grade and I started watching it. And yeah, so I started off fairly early. And it's just, yeah, I mean...
Do you want to hear the difference between you and me? I went over to a friend's house in grade 8. His name is Chase. Damn, he had like a mansion. Like it's crazy how much property he had. I was like completely caught off guard because like the school that we went to was like a really poor school. So I'm like, what's this rich kid doing at this poor school? You know? But we went down to his basement suite that he pretty much has by himself. And we set up like a futon and off the couch, and we set up pillows and snacks and drinks. And we went to a movie beforehand. When we're in the 7-Eleven, he found a Playboy and he's like, let's get it. I was like,
okay.
Nope. I'm like, stop. And I'm thinking, I'm like, this is so against what I was so sheltered and I was so like, goody two shoes. I was like, yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Woman. Oh, tits. Oh, funny. And it's great. And it's like, yeah, but I was like, no. And he was like, okay, fine. I'm not gonna force you. And he looked old enough to get it too, so it's like, I don't know. They probably would have ID'd him still, but like the 7-Eleven clerk was kind of a jackass. So I saw him like sell one of the kids there, like when we were, because we went back when we were in like high school. We were in like grade 11. He sold one of them smokes and didn't even ID him because the dude had like a full beard. Like he was East Indian, right? And he just like, yo, can I get like a king pack kind of thing? And he was just like, yeah, okay. And it's like, you realize it's lunchtime at a high school, right? Like, this is a 7-Eleven near a high school. Like, are you retarded? Like, and he would do that. He was just that bad. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can get arrested for doing that.
I mean,
you could be like, arrested, he looked really old enough.
Fired, and the company would probably be fined a lot of money.
Yeah, they could
be sued probably,
especially if my friend gotten hurt or sick from the smokes or something like that, or if it got caught in a crime or something. Well, then again, it's the smokes. But anyway, what was it? So we go back to his house, and he puts on South Park, and I've been told to avoid this show by like my parents and stuff like that. I didn't watch SpongeBob as a kid because they're like, it just kills your brain.
God,
like they're like, it's stupid. Now, I'm gonna be honest. SpongeBob, I see the memes a lot, and it kind of looks a little funny, but it's like, I know a lot of kids
so good.
I know a lot of kids grew up with it, but it's like, if you didn't watch it, you're not gonna really miss it. And for me, I look at it and I'm like, it's kind of funny, but it's also like toilet garbage humor, because I didn't grow up with those type of shows. But now after watching the internet, well, I still like it. Like if I go to a friend's house, they watch it. Even their dad watches it still. It's funny, and they watch it all the time. So I kind of get like, my eyes are stuck to it. I'm like, this is literal brainless humor, but I can't stop watching it. It's pretty much how I feel about SpongeBob. But he put on. I'm sorry. It's like, I didn't grow up with it. I can't.
I don't. No, it's different.
We wanted to watch it when we were kids. They barely let us watch iCarly. What was it? Because iCarly, they would make like, I don't know, they would act stupid sometimes. I don't know. My parents just didn't want, like, my parents weren't super strict. My dad was a little strict. My mom was a little strict too. Well, they didn't want us looking at stupid stuff. I'd say that would be the best way to say it. But when I was at Chase's house, he puts on South Park, and it was like the episode. If for those of you who are like, don't like gross things, maybe skip a minute or two. It was the episode where like Kenny's mom gets pregnant or something like that, and he's trying to make her abort thing.
Yes.
And they use like a plunger, and it's like, and he gets killed. Like that was the first time I ever saw South Park.
I know that episode because it's the same one where Cartman joins. Yeah, it's called the North American Man Boy Love Association.
But it was like a bunch of pedophiles, and it was like running around naked.
Oh my god!
That was my introduction to South Park, and I hadn't watched anything bad. Like the worst thing I'd watched is like PewDiePie swearing playing Slender, and it was like, funny thing. I felt I couldn't handle it. I had to go to the bathroom and I threw up. Like, I was so scared and I was so nervous, and I'm like, I'd never seen anything like it. It made me throw up.
Jeez,
and I was like,
man,
it was bad. And I was like, crap.
It's pretty
extreme. But
for a South Park episode.
Plunger abortion,
Well, he didn't do anything with the plunger. It was just implied that he wanted to. I mean,
he did it to his dad instead, remember?
Trust me, I know my South Park.
I'll believe you.
I remember he chased her around, and then nothing ever happened. No, the dad ended up
getting like
pedophiles.
Yeah, and every time he tried something on his mom, his dad ended up getting it by mistake.
Because he hit him in the balls with the baseball, and then he tried to take her on that amusement park ride, and he ended up breaking his nose.
Yeah, or and then he tried using the drink, the pills. The birth control.
Morning after pills, gave it to him instead.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But it's like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because it's funny that you would say that, just that episode made you throw up, because that is one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, I know. I'd never seen it before though. And I was like at a friend's house, and I was like, am I doing something wrong? Like, I feel like I'm doing something bad. And also, like, I don't know. Like, I was trying to be like, I'm like, it wasn't upsetting me too much, but like, I had a really, I guess
Little head couldn't handle it.
I also have a very sensitive stomach. Like, there was one time we went camping. The first time my stomach ever became bad, I guess, is we went to go to a stadium to meet a team, a local like hockey team type thing, right? And we stopped by a park on the way there. It was like a scout thing, and we went on like a merry-go-round type thing, like one of those. You know, it fits like one person, and you grab onto it, and it spins, and you can spin really fast, and it's kind of on a spring. I went on that, and I think I was on it for like 3 minutes straight, going as fast as it could. And we went to the underground parking lot, and I went to like shake the guys going down the line, and he owns the stadium and like the team that play on it, and it's a big team, right? It's like a major league hockey team. And this guy's like a big shot, and he goes to shake my hand, and I threw up in my hands because
what is wrong with you?
Because I really overdid it on that playground, and I was like on the right there. I'm like, I don't feel well, and they're like, hold it, just meet the guy, and then you can go to the bathroom. And then it was funny because he was like, oh, maybe not then. It was like,
I was gonna say, yeah, maybe another time.
And then I was like, I'm sorry. And then Joel took me to the bathroom. He was laughing his head off. Everyone was laughing. They're like, Ryan, like you ham. And then we went on a winter camp, like I think a year after. And I got so I was nervous because I'd never like slept outside before. And we were sleeping in an igloo. And yes, I'm from Canada. We don't really ever do that, but we made an igloo.
Do you all sleep in igloos?
No, there's not even much snow where I am. But we went somewhere that had snow, and so it was there was a cabin, but we didn't want to sleep in the cabin because we wanted to rough it. So and the cabin had no windows or doors either, and so we were like, let's make an igloo. We got like 6 guys in there, and I started feeling really claustrophobic and like nervous, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna throw up, and I'm like, I'm also the guy on the end of the 6 guys, so I have to climb over all their bodies to get out the igloo door. And so I did, and I need like 3 guys in the balls, and they're like, Ryan, what the, and they're like, I felt really bad, and like, I was like, I'm sorry, and they're like, why are you going? I'm like, I'm gonna throw up, and they're like, what, Ryan? And they're like thinking I'm really sick, and I'm like, no, this just happens. I'm like, when I get nervous, and it was, I don't have as much anymore, like, it was bad, I hated it, like, it happened so many times in, like, the older I got. Like, I went to go visit my my girlfriend in a nearby city once because she didn't live in the city that I lived in. It's scary. I almost said the names of these cities, and I'm like, don't do it, you know, because it's just such a casual talk. But I go up to get on a Greyhound. You know what a Greyhound is, right?
Yeah, those buses, yeah.
You guys have them? Okay.
Down here.
Down here. Everything.
Out here. Here in America.
I thought because you're shorter, so.
Oh my god! Because you're 6'3", I forgot. I didn't forget because you drilled it into my head that you're 6'3".
That's a running joke of ours. For those that don't know, I'm not egotistical. I promise. Okay, little. No, the
So
I never been on a Greyhound. I never been on like a bus by myself, but I was trying to do it by myself, and. Not like a big trip. Like I'd been on public bus and school bus, but like I was going out of the city by myself type thing. And so I'm like, yeah, it was just I'm doing it for the first time. I never really had a reason not to in the beginning, and my stomach was like, you can't do this. And it was also like I was seeing my girlfriend or kind of girlfriend at the time, not girlfriend yet. But I got so nervous that I had to like spend a lot of the time in the Greyhound bathroom, and I was like, I'm just trying not to throw up kind of thing, because anytime I got nervous, and especially when I was in a car, I didn't get car sick, but like if I couldn't just like pace around or walk, and I was like confined to a space while I was getting nervous, I would probably end up throwing up. And it was really crappy. Like if I was in a room or a house or an igloo, what a list. Man, like, you ever get it when you're in like a room or house or an igloo and you just want to throw up? Like,
All
anyone
the time with those
else?
igloos, man.
Man, those igloos,
Oh my god.
not good for the gastric tract or whatever.
Just say,
Acid
I mean, in
reflux.
terms of being nervous and throwing up, I can only recall it happening once to me, and it was public speaking. I'm sure that comes as no shock to anybody,
Yeah,
but
considering
it's
your
really
upbringing.
yeah, it's it's so terrifying, and I don't know why. And I get like I always start getting like really. They always say like bring flashcards, that'll help. Flashcards don't help. They make it worse because you're trying to read the card,
And look at the audience.
hit the audience, but then like I also get this thing where I get so nervous I start like really shaky. Like I get real
Yep.
like I can notice my hands and I'm looking and then I look at the cards and then I think, oh my god, they're looking at my hands.
They can see I'm
I gotta
shaking.
stop
They think
looking
I'm
at the cards.
pathetic. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's and my head starts racing. But I remember I had a speech class in college and I was going first that day. Like because the way that it happened, it was like, okay, the last speech that we did, I went very last because I held off until being last. So then they're like, okay, you know, now we're going to do reverse order. So who went last has to go first, and whoever went first goes last. So I was like, great. So it ended up, you know, biting me in the ass. I remember just sitting in my car. I had my stuff ready. I had like a little poster thing. I had my note cards. I had practiced it over and over, but I was still so nervous that morning. And I remember I just remember opening up my car door and just being like, bleh. And then I was like,
no.
and then it wasn't like a lot or anything, but I was just like, ah. And then I was like, just gotta relax and calm yourself down. And then I went and it was fine.
Well,
And it went well, but I was again, it's just one of those things. I mean, I still
might need a
don't,
tic
I
tac.
can't get over it.
No, it's kind of funny you became a YouTuber if you had that much of an issue with like public
Well,
speaking. And well, then again, you get the chance to edit the video and as many tries as you want.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just my voice. Like I'm not. It's more of standing up in front of a crowd and people see me, and I feel like I'm just being judged the entire time. Like I get, yeah, with editing, I can get it, make it sound better, make it look better, maybe deter from my voice. I don't know. Like
Look at the foodgasm. Don't pay attention to my shaky
pay
hands.
attention exactly. Yeah, but it was funny, like because with the YouTube stuff. I didn't start getting into it until after one of my years at college because I originally went for broadcast and communications. I did like TV and radio stuff.
You're kind of in that now,
Radio,
though, aren't you?
well, I'm more film,
Yeah, that's true.
but now I'm sort of in the TV industry, I guess. But with broadcast, I did radio a lot, and
Really?
I remember them always telling me I had to take a radio class, and I had to record. We'd have to do like fake ads or something, you know. We'd have to be like, oh, this is a script for a PSA about animals or something like that.
I would have
And I would have to do it, and I would play it for them, and they'd be like, wow, you have a really good voice. They're like, you know, you could do really well on the radio. And my teacher had me come in on Fridays, and we would do what was it called? I think it was Throwback Friday, and we would play like music from the 60s to the 90s. And I would, you know, go on the radio and I would play, you know, just pick out random songs from CDs, and I'd be like, okay, next up is this song from 1988, and then play it. And you know, they always said, they were like, you're really good. You have like that radio voice, and I was like, oh, cool. Like,
I had a few people used to joke with me. They're like, "You got a face for radio." I'm like, "Oh, that. Oh, wait, hey,
oh wait a minute,
hold on, that's an insert."
yeah.
But
I was gonna say no. I listened carefully. They said I had the voice for radio, so
you do.
I thought, oh, I thought that was interesting. So then, I've been on YouTube now. My first video was back in like 2008.
Man, those Grim Jow AMVs. Whew.
You. Anyway,
Hey.
I wanted to do Bleach because I did a lot of Bleach videos, but I never got to talk to anybody about it. Like, I didn't start reading the manga until like way late, and like by the time that
anime episodes as well, or wait, you would talk about them like season 2 of Attack on Titan and all that. Like you talk, you're not limited to manga.
That's more recently. Like now I've started talking about anime. I have to branch out. No, see, like if you look, I've done parody videos. Like I've done birthday videos for my friends and stuff. If you go and see, I did like the, I don't know. I just did like little lip dubs and stuff. You know, I would take audio from other stuff and just kind of.
Yeah, I think like you did something called Drunk Levi or something like that.
I did the Attack on Titan ones, you know, I did Drunk Levi, how Armin knows Jean is gay, like all that kind of things. Yeah, I did that, and that was mostly what I did for a while, but I never actually did anime reviews yet. So I've done top 10s, I've done that kind of stuff, but nothing, yeah.
Would you say, what made you kind of want to, like, was it wanting to talk to people, like you did the radio class and you were told like you got a good voice for it, so you're like, hey, maybe this is something I'm good at? Or is there another reason that you wanted to kind of get into the whole YouTubing and discussing anime and manga and all that?
With YouTube, it was more like, well, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I didn't know what I wanted to, like I had flip-flop. I was like, oh, maybe I want to be a cop. It's like, maybe I want to be a lawyer. Maybe I want to be a teacher. And I didn't really know. And then in my sophomore year, me and a group of friends, we were in a class together and we had to do a video project. We had to like film 5 chapters from this one book that we were reading. And they're like, okay, we'll film it. And they're like, okay, Tyler, you do the editing. It's like, holy shit, like this is fun. Like I had a good time doing it and I wanted to keep doing it. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to be involved with like video stuff, like editing, recording, all that kind of stuff. And then I was introduced to, I just found out about Bleach and I was like, oh, this show is so awesome. It's cool. I want to do stuff with it. Like I want to make music videos. In 2008, you would see like the Linkin Park, everyone in their mothers was making Linkin Park, AMVs with Bleach and Naruto and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, I want to do some others. I want to do some stuff. And I started with that and I wanted to get it out there. I was like, oh, I love Bleach and I want to, share that. So.
Or the Lady Gaga Bad Romance Fairy Tale AMVs. Like, oh, I've seen so many cringy ones. It's funny.
Some of them are so bad.
It's bad.
So bad. But so yeah.
I gotta say, I never really liked AMVs or got into AMVs until I started creating the opening, because I never gave them a chance, because how I'd usually find AMVs was out of disappointment by not finding the actual episode. I'd be like, Bleach episode 4, or like, what was it, or Ichigo versus like this guy, like Ichigo versus Kenpachi, and then I get a bunch of different cuts with like, taken from my soul. And it's like, this is not what I was looking for. Crawling in the deep. Yeah. Like,
it's, and that's what I ran into also. And I was like,
I kind of just hated them. And then when I was actually looking to make the opening, there's a specific AMV that I watched that I got the song for the opening from, because I was trying to look at songs that fit with Bleach pretty well. So I'm like, AMVs seem like a good place to look, because then you actually get to see Bleach beside them. I don't need to download songs. I don't need to like try and imagine it in my head. I get to see it in front of me. So that's what I did. And that's how I kind of came to the conclusion AMVs aren't actually that bad. So now I don't really mind. And they're kind of nice because you don't really see content for specific things like
if they're
Bleach
edited very well.
Yeah.
Like there's really, really good ones that are just like.
I like mashups.
Perfect in them.
I like mashups a lot. Like when people mix songs, like what was it? I've heard people mix like Kill la Kill songs with like other things. Like what was it? I heard like somebody mixed a song, a Kill la Kill song with like a Metal Gear song, and it was so perfect. It's like these were made for each other. But
it's crazy what some people can do. Like
yeah,
I look up to those people because I just look at them like, how the hell did you do that? I need to find out because. Just so perfect sometimes.
And then there's the people that mix the Evangelion thing or the Space Jam with everything, and they're like, "Am I cool yet?"
This is good, right? Like it's no, it's.
Although
it's terrible.
I hear a lot of good Evangelion ones. Is that how you say that, by the way?
I was gonna say I usually say Evangelion.
Evangelion. And I'm like Evangelion. Like
Evangelion, yeah.
I don't know. I apologize. I actually haven't even watched it yet.
I have not either.
That's another thing. Like when we were talking about alcohol before, like when people get outraged over something unnecessarily, I'm like, hey, I haven't seen the Indiana Jones movies, and people are like, what? How have you not? And I'm like, listen, bud, not everyone watches movies. I know that you think that you're literally like the norm or whatever, and everyone else that doesn't do what you've done is weird, or you've heard someone else do it, so now you're trying to like pass it on like a torch of unnecessary outrage. But not everyone needs to see the Indiana Jones movies.
I haven't seen them. I mean,
There!
I went to school. I work with film, and I haven't seen. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't seen, but
I think, okay, let's have a little contest over that. Okay, have you seen, what was it? Have you seen any of the Batman live action movies?
Dark Knight Rises, and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I saw the first two with Michael Keaton, like the old ones, like Batman and Batman Returns, the Tim Burton ones. I haven't seen those.
George Clooney,
but no, George Clooney is in the Batman Forever, because there's Batman Returns with Val Kilmer.
You know,
one was with.
The only Batmans I know are Adam West, George Clooney, that one guy who's really good, but like he gets mad, and everyone liked him in Dark Knight. I know his name.
No.
He Christian Bale. Did you already say it?
I did.
Frick. I used to make a joke about it. It's just like, why does Batman never go to church? Because he's Christian Bale. Hey, Tensa. It's pretty funny. But
to answer your question, I have seen I've seen the bad ones. I've seen, unfortunately, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and I've seen bits and pieces of Batman Begins, and then I have seen Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
So you've seen quite a few of them. I've never actually seen a Batman movie live action. Like I've never seen a live action Batman movie.
Really?
No.
I was gonna say we saw Dark Knight, Dark Knight, not Dark Knight Rises, in theaters, and that was.
I know awesome. Everyone loves Heath Ledger in that, and
I mean, it's. I don't know if it's worth like.
I feel people stroke him off a little too much. Like I'm sure he's really good, but like people act like he's the messiah of actors. And I wonder if that. No, I'm not trying to be insensitive or rude, but like I'm wondering if that's because he unfortunately did end up committing suicide. Yeah, and I'm thinking, I'm like, are they like? I feel like people glorify people more once they're dead, type thing, or they're like, yeah, they were the best. Like people did it. Like everyone loved Robin Williams, and he is still probably the most sad I've ever been over a celebrity death. Like I actually cried when I found out he died. Like that one hit hard. But now everyone, whenever somebody's like, oh, they're a comedian, they're like, not as good as Robin Williams. And I'm like, although I really loved Robin Williams as a comedian, and he's probably one of my favorites, you can't keep doing that. You can't do that just because he's dead or because you've heard other people talk about him. Because everyone was like, when they pass away, they're like, oh, they were a legend, you know? Like everyone's like talking about him like that. But, you know, I don't know. I don't like it when people do that. Like me personally, my favorite Joker isn't even a live action one. It's Mark Hamill.
Everybody says that. Everyone usually says like it's Heath Ledger and then even Mark Hamill.
He's done it for such a long time, and you gotta like, I don't know. I mean, people would make the same argument against me for Heath Ledger. Like they're like, but they're just so good. For me, it's like Mark Hamill.
That's the thing. It's all very different portrayals.
They are. I feel like. Not because Mark Hamill was like one of the first. I think he was the first for the cartoon, and like pretty much the only one for the cartoons for a long time until they started getting the reboots and stuff. In all my favorite Batman cartoons, he was Joker, but he just did it so well. And Mark Hamill is a pretty good actor. I think most people like when it comes to voice acting.
For voice acting, yes.
For the only thing I've ever seen him physically acting is Luke.
Star Wars movie.
Yeah. And it was like a lot of people get mad at me
because not the best actor in any of those movies. So
No, I think R2-D2 wins those. But speaking of which, I haven't seen the new Star Wars movie. Either of them.
Force Awakens?
I've only seen the first 6. That's it.
I mean, at least you've seen them.
Yeah. And
Some people haven't even seen any of them.
Whenever I said that I liked any of the prequels, people get mad at me. And I'm like, but why? Why am I not allowed to like these?
You like the prequels more than the original, or?
Well, I like them. Well, the thing I like the most in Star Wars is the Clone Wars. But that wasn't even one of the movies. I just liked that saga. It was,
and I've heard a lot about that.
Because Obi-Wan was my favorite, and it's like Obi-Wan's only just an old guy in the original Star Wars trilogy for like a little while, and then he was like, "Cut me through, because why not?" Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
I don't even know what we were talking about again.
Movies we haven't seen, or like unpopular.
I was gonna say you were saying you were gonna do a contest. I mean,
I think we're just gonna start naming off ones that you're like most people have seen that you haven't seen. So here.
Well, I will say in college they made us watch Citizen Kane, which is always regarded as the greatest movie ever made by anyone ever for existence, and I didn't like it that much.
You want to hear something? I've never heard of that movie. I don't know what you're talking about. Never heard.
You never heard of it?
Never heard of it.
Okay. Well, then I feel like it's wasted here. But
no, I think your point is emphasized. Like
Orson Welles, and it's the whole. Like,
I know Orson Welles.
Yeah, he did it. He made it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he directed. I don't know. He did something. He worked on it, but he also starred in it.
I only know Orson Welles from the Transformers '86 movie. He voiced Unicron. That's unfortunate because I know he was a lot more than that. Yeah,
I was gonna say he did a lot of other stuff.
No,
I think he did some other stuff.
I know of his legacy, but that was the reason I know of him.
It's the only reason why you know his name.
Well, when did I was a kid. And like when you're an adult, like all these like legendary actors and stuff, like I don't know, like film and stuff wasn't so much for kids. The older we get, they started like adding in cartoons and stuff.
Like I've grown up with movies, like that's just how. A lot of cartoons, but I also just watched a lot of movies growing up. Just like not even like just like I watched Disney movies or something like that. Because again. I wasn't a big Disney fan growing up.
I watched a lot of Disney movies.
Was not. My sisters were big Disney fans. I was not.
Well, I always liked animated stuff, and I'm not like I didn't. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being like I knew I was gonna be an animator from when I came out of my mama. I did not know.
Why you're talking like that? But okay.
I don't know. Like when people are like, "Yep, I was raised to be this way." I don't know. I just if what comes to mind, don't judge me. Anyway, but. I don't know, like, I would say the most thing that people get outraged at when I say I haven't seen a movie or a movie series is I have not watched The Lord of the Rings.
I haven't either.
Hey, virtual high five. Here you go.
I've
seen one movie, and I've seen The Hobbit when it came out in theaters, the first one.
I haven't even... You've seen more than I have.
That's sad.
It's I just don't
call yourself a movie like fanatic.
I am, but
you just don't see a lot of them.
Probably trivia your ass under the table, but I don't. I'm aware of movies and actors and directors and all that, but it doesn't mean I've seen them. What
would you say your favorite movie is?
I've always said my top 3 are from 1 to 3: Fight Club, Halloween, John Carpenter, and then Back to the Future.
Back to the Future is pretty good.
It's one of my favorites. Those are my top 3. I
don't know if I could nail off my top 3. I was kind of unfair to ask you, but you were prepared. Good job on that.
That's been my top 3 for a long time now. That's always been. If everyone's always like, "What are your 3 favorite movies?" I'm like, those 3, right in order, and then I don't know. There's like so many good movies, but like I'm more of a horror movie person.
So that's not really something somebody says is their favorite movie. I've heard a lot of people say that The Shining is their favorite movie. Actually,
but I don't even know if I would ever put it in my top 10.
it's kind of hard to put. They're more of a thrill rather than you appreciate them as a movie. Like they're like
it's brilliant and it's scary at sometimes, but
they just feel different from any other movie, you know.
it's good. It's just not. Yeah, it's.
But to be fair, I haven't even watched that many horror movies. I have not seen The Shining. I don't think I've really seen any horror movies actually.
Oh man, you're breaking me here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
What I grew up on, I don't know. I was just always into
South Park when you're in grade 2, bud. You're not exactly a prime example.
South Park and horror movies, and look at me, it turned out just great.
Just great, you know.
Just great,
Morty.
But like that's why I kind of wanted to also get into movies though, is because I love the original Halloween so much, and that movie was made in like
long time ago
on a budget of like $100,000 back in 19. It came out in 78, so I mean it was probably around 77, early 1978 that they made it, and they made it for like a shoestring budget, and then they went and released it, and it made a crap ton of money. I'm like, so it's possible, like, and it's still a good movie. It's one of the better scary movies to ever just be made, in my opinion. But almost 40 years later,
it's a lot easier to do it back then though, because you don't really. It's like we have games like Mortal Kombat that would probably scare the living crap out of anyone back then, like, and their games.
Terrifying.
Yeah, and
well,
people are really desensitized now. It's harder to scare them without getting too.
You have to rely on jump scares now.
Yeah,
if you really want to scare people, you have to be really quiet
or mislead them.
Bah! And you just
it's
just a cat, and then you got to turn around, and then there's the killer. Oh my god! Like again, today's stuff is like you have your gore, and with Hostel and Saw and all that. Whereas somebody
tried to show me Saw when I was a kid.
Oh, that's not good.
That was bad.
That's not good.
I had nightmares, and I had to like tell my parents and stuff. Like I was really sensitive back then. Like somebody showed me Saw, and they're like, look, this guy's got to cut off his own arm, and this lady's like cutting off her legs, and they're like screaming and crying. And I was like in grade 6, I think.
Yeah. And
I was like, what was it? Jacob was fricked up. I said fricked, by the way, but yeah, that was no good. Yeah,
these were just so much better. They were better, I would say. Like, they didn't rely on blood. One thing I always notice people talk about, too, is if you've ever heard of, like, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That probably sounds horrifying to you, correct?
Yeah.
Blood-filled movie, and it's not.
No?
If you go back, if you watch it, there is little to no blood. It was in 1974.
Well, they had higher restriction back then, too. Like,
it was almost an X. They almost gave it an X rating.
Really?
Still, there was no blood. What? There was no blood in that movie. I'm telling you.
There's blood in, like, The Rifleman. Like, in old cowboy shows, like, someone gets shot, and they're like, oh, I'm bleeding. And then it's like, here's a horror movie. No blood.
But that's like
That's what you should have.
Some of them are so great, is that you don't need to rely on, like, look at all this blood spurting out. It's
somebody's dying. Someone's being murdered. Someone's, like, completely what is it, like their body's mutilated. Be scared.
Be scared. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. I like the old movies, but then been a huge fan of the Friday the 13th movies with Jason and all that. And
you liked those?
Oh my god, yes. It's my favorite.
There's a game coming out
movie
for
franchise.
it. It's kind of already out for it. And if you heard about it.
I have it.
You have or have not?
Have the game for Friday the 13th.
Oh, you little. All right.
I downloaded it back when it came out in like June.
I'm glad to know that someone else has it. I have Dead by Daylight, and that was a disappointment because one, nobody plays with me, and also I just hate being the killer. I hate being the runner so much because I'm like, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me, and I'm bad at it too. And it's like, gah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Friday the 13th looked really good, but man, is it gory. Like, it's like I don't mind,
crazy,
but it's great. Something with games, I feel is they focus on graphics too much, or like cinema, or like animations, rather than gameplay and like mechanics and stuff
That
like
is its
that.
one flaw, is that the gameplay is super super simple.
And like
It's
it's just
basically
run.
just well, you get to either be Jason or one of the camp counselors, and all you have to do, you can like find parts for a car and you can drive and escape the camp, parts for a boat and escape, or you can call the police and wait for them and then they'll come and get you. And like that's basically your objective as a counselor, but you have like 20 minutes per round to do it. Jason, you can just kill everybody so that they don't escape or anything.
Is it easy to kill them? I heard you can teleport.
So you can like move super fast. Like you do this like thing where it's almost like a fast forward, but you can move throughout the woods like super like. It's hard to explain. You would have to like watch the gameplay, but you can teleport.
Huh.
You can move super fast.
Like
you can teleport.
Sorry,
a little bit.
Sorry to relate it to Bleach stuff, but I think a lot of people
sorry, Bleach, but
I think a lot of people are gonna.
It actually is, because it does make a little noise. It makes like a little whoosh, and yeah. Teleport. It's like a little whoo, and it shows him drop down, and it's just like, oh, cool. Now he's here. Like
have you played it against anyone?
I was gonna say that's all it is right now is online gameplays. So
is it fun?
You just kind of it is fun for like a couple hours, because sometimes you only get to play. Need $40 for it for the online. I downloaded it and it was only $40, but the hard copy is coming out soon and that's like 60. So I guess I got it
for less.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is it still that price?
No, honestly.
Well,
it might be. Yeah, I was gonna say I'd try it out. It's very simple gameplay, but it's great because the graphics are pretty crazy just because of the kills, because top, but like they had to do that because if they didn't, like a lot of the fans would be really angry about it.
Yeah.
Like who enjoys the movies, if they were like, oh, he just kind of stabbed this guy with a knife and he fell over, like people would be like, no, like this is a video game. You have to go all out.
Where's the whole like, it doesn't feel like the movie. It just feels like you're just chasing around with a knife. I could play any other game for that. It doesn't feel like Jason.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
It's very fun.
I know of Friday the 13th. It's funny because I was actually born on Friday the 13th. Indeed, I'm a monster.
I do treat Friday the 13th as a holiday, though. That's always.
What do you even do on that day?
I just sit and watch all the Friday the 13th movies.
You watch it multiple times a year.
It's great. They're so bad, but they're so fun.
I'll take your word on it. But what was it? I think the first time I ever got scared, I really remember. It was from a movie that wasn't even a scary movie. The first time I really got scared was no. Okay, from a movie, it was The Princess Bride. The water torture scene where he's screaming and roaring and yelling. I came in the living room while it was starting, and I heard the screaming and the echoing and the roaring, and so I hid behind the couch. And it scared the living crap out of me.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was the first time I remember getting scared by a movie. First time I got scared by a video game was Diddy Kong Racing, the Whiz Pig.
Wait, you have some very odd...
Yep. And I remember I had a nightmare about my dad driving home in the rain, and the Whiz Pig was chasing him, and it stepped on my dad's car. And I was like, Dad, the Whiz Pig's gonna kill you. And then, like, my dad he didn't come home every night type of thing, because, like, sometimes, there was this one time he had a job in, he had to take a ferry, and sometimes he would, like, sleep at David's place or Davidson or something like that. I just remember sometimes he didn't, like, he wasn't there in the night or something like that, or at least early enough in the night where I'd be awake. Because, you're never awake at midnight as a kid. Like, it was like, whoa, midnight? Something's wrong. Like, it felt evil to stay up that long. And now I'm literally like, what is day and night? There's no difference. But, yeah, I remember I told my mom, and I was, like, worried that the Whiz Pig was going to kill my dad. and it was really funny. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and there was one time I remember going down into the playroom back when we had the N64 and TV down there on the glass table, and Dad was playing Diddy Kong Racing. He was trying to beat the first Whiz Pig. It's funny because the first Whiz Pig is harder than the second Whiz Pig, and it's like, that doesn't make sense. And we were like trying to watch him, and then Melissa comes down, or Caitlin comes down, I can't remember who, and they're like, "What's he doing?" And I'm like, "Shh, he's fighting Whiz Pig. He needs to focus." And I remember Dad lost. He was like, "Damn it," and he just threw down the controller and just left. And we're like, "No, you can't stop now." like, you didn't beat him.
Defeated by the pig.
One of my favorite pastimes as a kid is we'd come home from 7-Eleven, and I would get like a little cup of candy. And I had one of my favorite candies ever is marshmallow bananas. And it's ever since I was a little kid. And we'd put Super Mario 64 on, and I would sit on the couch, and I would put blankets on, and I'd put my stuffed animals beside me, and I would make Mum play Super Mario 64 while I ate the banana marshmallows. And I would watch her fight. I would watch her fight Bowser, and I would like cheer her on and stuff.
Oh my god.
It was really fun. I would be like, oh, and then like she would try and throw him and he would miss, and I'd be like, oh no, like kind of thing. I just remember because she would try and land him on the bomb. And my mom was pretty good at video games when I was younger. Then she didn't do it for a long time, and also I guess I just relatively got really good at games. So I see her as, because you can't be good at video games when you're a little kid.
You're always gonna be bad.
Yeah, it's like you can be okay, but you're not gonna. It's like pretty much your parent can just beat you just because they have the motor skills to beat you. I don't know. My dad and I used to play a game called Battle Tanks. N64 is definitely probably my favorite system out there. It's the most nostalgic thing for me. But we used to play Battle Tanks, and I think we played it on the computers because we had an emulator, and. He always used to pick the little tank, and I would pick like the Goliath big tank, and he always used to like, he didn't understand it or something like that, and he would always run his little tank into my big tank, and mine would just squish his, and I would just laugh, and he's just like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You're bullying me." And I was just like, I would keep laughing, and it was just kind of, I felt a little bad though, because I was kind of a dick to play with when we played competitive games. Like we'd play Diddy Kong Racing, and you know the red balloons, you could shoot missiles at people. I would get like 10 missiles, and I would like wait behind Melissa or Mom and just keep shooting them, and they'd keep flying up in the air, they'd land, and then the second they'd land, I'd shoot them again. Like I was a dick. But
I say you hold the bar, man.
Pardon? What?
Bar, you went all out.
It was funny because they just
even
like,
as a little kid, you were just like, "Nah, screw you."
Well, because they would just like drop the controller and just look at me, and they'd be like, "Ryan," and then I'd be like, "Okay, I'm sorry," and then they'd pick up the controller, pew.
Yeah.
It was really funny. I would feel, if they got mad though, I'd feel really bad, and then I would like let them win the next few rounds or something like that, because it got to the point where I got good enough to like win every game. I played video games way more than the rest of my family though. That was the thing. The other day I tried to. I feel like I almost feel like we're going too long, so we'll end it real soon. But the other day I tried playing a game on Steam again because I was like, you know what? I haven't done anything besides work on the project or just sleep or just exist because I don't know. It's been really, really hard lately working, and so maybe I'll play a video game. You know, because I used to play video games like all day, every day. I feel like that saying has lost meanings now. It's like all day, bro, every day, bro. But
all right, fam.
All right, squad fam. But I tried to play a game, Just Cause 3. I was like, oh, that was a fun game. I remember I played that, so I opened up my Steam, and I'm playing it. And man, it feels bad. Like I remember why I stopped playing games is because I don't have the ability to moderate myself in playing games. Like I went from playing games every day, all day, up until about grade 10. And then that's when I started animating in December of grade 10. And I was like, okay, I want to do this. But then I was like, I can't really do both. And I don't have the self-control to do both. So I gave up video games cold turkey completely and just animated every day, all day from then on, up until like now, really, you know, like just animating all day or drawing all day. Now it's kind of like I work on the project and it's a lot of not drawing and animating. It's a lot of talking to people and emails and discussing methods and writing manuals, and it's fun. Well, Guest does most of the manual writing, but anyway. So I start playing the game and I'm like, I've been playing this game for 8 hours. I'm like, and I screwed up my sleep really bad that night. I'm like, I was kind of really sad because I was like, this is why I can't play games. And so I got on today and I still had the window open. I'm like, all right, I'll play it for like 20 minutes or 30 minutes because like my workday, my unofficial workday starts at 9 a.m. and then like ends at 6 p.m. type thing. Right. And then I'm like, all right, so I'll play for like 20 minutes or something like that. And it's like 40 minutes are by and I'm like, I keep like pushing it forward and forward and forward. And I'm like, yeah, just like after this base or something like that, or after this enemy. I'm like, I have no control. I can't do it. And it was really kind of sad when I realized that. I'm like, I can't do it. So I closed the game. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I can't play games again unless I'm like at a friend's house. And it's like, I really wish it wasn't that way. It's really unfortunate because I really love video games, but I can't do it anymore. Otherwise, it just sucks me up.
I was gonna say, like, for me with video games, it's not that I stopped doing it like you, where you were just like, I have to stop, you know, I get too immersed in it. For me, I really just lost interest in it entirely. Like, the whole thought of sitting down and playing a game did not... It still kind of doesn't, like...
I don't crave it.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it just doesn't seem like something I'm like, oh, gosh, like, I'd love to play a video game. Like, I'd rather be working on a video or, you know...
Yeah, I have things to do.
I became music or reading or something. Like, and that sounds lame, but, like, I used to go on all the time, though. Like, back in high school and like a couple years in college, we played the hell out of Xbox Live because it was Halo 3.
Yep.
And we played the shit out of that. Like, we always went on every night, and then sort of when Halo 3 faded out, we switched to Call of Duty Black Ops.
You didn't go to Reach.
And that was amazing.
You didn't go to Reach.
No, I did play Reach.
Okay.
I did play Reach.
Reach was actually my first Halo.
But we didn't switch. I'm gonna say it's not a bad one. That's actually probably my second favorite Halo, to be honest.
I hear most people's favorite Halo is Halo 3. Unfortunately, I tried to buy Halo 3 and my disc never worked, and I didn't have enough money to buy another one. And EB Games would.
You didn't like return it?
They wouldn't let me.
You didn't have the receipt.
They wouldn't let me. No.
Did you have the receipt?
I did. They wouldn't let me. It was a really shitty deal. And I brought it back, and they're like, "Hey, that was one of the things that you agreed to when you bought it," kind of thing. And I'm like, "Oh, I was just saying, like, yeah, give me the disc." So my fault a little bit, but mostly
I didn't pay for.
Yeah, I didn't pay for nothing, and they're like, "Hey, it's used" or something like that, or kind of thing. It was dumb.
I call shenanigans on that.
It was dumb, but the multiplayer worked for my Halo 3. But the thing is, I'd played Reach and 4. And I'm like, all right, now I gotta play 3. I didn't even really know about Master Chief. I just knew people liked him and he was cool for a long time. I got into Halo 3 from watching multiplayer stuff like the slide and the kill ball and like the custom game mini games. They looked like the most fun thing in the world. It's crazy.
Like, you could do Forge, you could build your own maps. That was always so fun. You could do your own, you could make your own videos, you could adjust cameras and all that. Like, that was always so. It was so much fun, like, with what you could do. The maps were, like, perfect, too. There was probably, like, one bad map. Like, they were all just fun.
I wouldn't really bash on any of them. I think I remember there's just ones I hate because I would always lose on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
And that's the only reason you dislike a map, though, is, like, you go, oh, like, Sand Pit sucks because I can never seem to get as many kills as I do on...
Yeah,
high ground or something. Like, it's always
on Halo 4. I always went on Haven. Whenever we do that, I would always just take my assault rifle. I would always win. It was great. But then I played it again at my friend's house when I went over to his farm, and I was losing. Man, I get mad. I couldn't stand being like losing and doing badly, and I'm thinking
like a little bit of a sore loser.
Well, I don't know. I never really lost often, so I think it's just. falling off the high horse type thing. You get your pride all like, what the and you're not like, this is not how this is supposed to go. I'm supposed to win, you know. Or I was supposed to at least fare my own, but like I was getting destroyed. It's like, I play Smash Bros with other people sometimes. Well, not really anymore, but like I used to a lot. And I was really, really good with Link, and I was like, you know, this is who I am with Smash Bros. I'm really good, and usually I have really tight matches if someone else is really good. There's this one friend I play with. He plays Cloud every time, and he destroys me, and I just get so mad. And it's like, why do I have to get mad? I don't want to be mad, but I can't stand it.
No, it's frustrating. I mean, I get it.
It's like you try as hard as you can, but you're still getting your ass whooped, and you're like, why am I even playing? You know, because the point of the game is to win.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. The people are
win,
like, oh, have fun. I'm like, that's winning. It's like,
I was just gonna say, I'll be like, oh well, I think more of the point is just to have some fun.
No.
I guess that's the loser mentality.
It is. It's like, I don't know. There's certain games where losing doesn't really matter, and it's just funny. Like, you know, the game Gang Beasts, like that where you like pull people around and you throw them in pits and stuff. Like, it's just funny. Or like, what was it? Or like in Gary's mod, you know, like you're just kind of random crap. Like someone will sit in a chair, and they'll get hit by a car going like 200 miles an hour or something like that. And they'll be like, what the? And they like, you're not mad you died. You're just like, that was ridiculous. That was hilarious. You know, it's not competitive, but like Smash Bros is really competitive for me.
Right.
And Halo, it's like, we're shooting each other. But when we mess around in Forge mode, no one really gets mad.
Well, no, what's there to get mad about?
Well, yeah, it's just
Forge.
like somebody's throwing a kill ball at you, and it's like, stop, and they're just like, it's like playing competitive games. It's competitive, so it's like you're not playing it for fun at that point. You're playing to win, which is what a lot of people do. And
see, that's how I was when I moved on to Call of Duty Black Ops. That was the most. I would freaking slam my controller because of that game.
Yeah,
like, it was bad, and
I never really got mad. The only game I really get mad at was the Halo thing the other day, and Smash Bros. I played League and I never got mad. Like, if I started losing, I would start telling jokes in chat while they killed me. Like, I was kind of like, I also just hated how my friends acted. Like, they would call them out. They're like, oh, you this word here, and they would like get striked and stuff for being toxic and flaming. But I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I don't know. You come in and you're like, don't act like that. It's really easy. Or when your friends do it and you see them acting stupid, you make a real conscious effort not to act that way. But that was Smash Bros.
I want to be.
Pardon?
I was gonna say. I mean, you don't want to be part of that. You don't want to be. You don't want to be associated with that kind of.
No, it's like people.
I think
gamers are ridiculous because of people who act like that. The people who are like, "Oh my god," and they like throw their monitor and like screeching like a pterodactyl. I have never, honestly, people who act that like way, it's either they're spoiled rotten or they need help. You know, like, do not destroy your own property on purpose because you're mad. Like, people who throw things or hit things with baseball bats, or they go out and like shoot their own computer with a gun because their computer's not working. It's just like, you've got you want attention.
More mental issues.
You either want attention really bad and you're acting, or you got mental issues. Like, ugh, Jesus. I think I've never broken a device before, like ever. Like, I've never cracked a screen on an iPod or phone. Like, nothing ever like that before. But what was it? With one of my pairs of headphones, like the over the head ones, all the time I used to get out of my chair. I was having a really bad day. I went to leave my chair and I stepped on the cord, and it like yanked on my neck, just like it choked me, and I was like, and I just threw them off my head, just punched them off my own head, kind of thing. And then they hit the wall a little bit, and the one earphone, the one side stopped working, and I was like, ah. But I didn't really care either because I hated them because the cord was way too long and they weren't even that good. But I don't know. People get mad and such. I get it, but there's a point.
I have friends that do that. Like, I have a friend who is on PlayStation 4 a lot, and he's broken multiple controllers. I'm just like,
how do you do that?
hey, like, it's just
It happens.
it's just a game. Like, it's not even just like he's broken one. I'm pretty sure he's gone through at least 3 controllers.
Or people who are like, yeah, this is my 6th iPhone. I don't understand how people break stuff.
I don't
so
know
much.
how people go through, how they go through phones. Like, I am so super careful with my phone and just anything in general with technology, anything. Like, I always just make sure that's nothing.
Well, I'm a cheap bastard, so I'm not gonna buy it again.
And I'm afraid I don't want to spend the money again. I'm just like, if I'm gonna pay this much money, I'm gonna make sure that it doesn't break, because if it does, then I'm gonna be out a phone for a while because I'm not gonna pay that much money again.
I heard somebody make a joke about they're like, how do you keep your how to make sure your kid or your teen doesn't do drugs? Make them play Magic because they won't have the money for drugs or something like that. Because they'll be buying so many cards and losing their shit and then like having to buy more cards and stuff. And I thought that was funny.
I believe it.
I've never really been in the card game. Well, I did Pokemon cards when I was a kid.
Yu-Gi-Oh was the only card game that I
never played Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh was the only card game I could get. Like, I collected Pokemon cards, but nobody knew how to play the freaking game.
Oh yeah, I actually used to do something really bad. Because I could draw at a young age and stuff. So I would maybe make fake Pokemon cards and trade them for real ones.
Wow, you are...
Counterfeit Pokemon cards? Going to freaking juvie, grade 3.
I got this.
What are you in for?
I got this card right
fake
here.
Pokemon cards.
It's like, damn, this guy slides away from you. He's like, oh,
whoa, dude. And it's like, I just stole an animal cracker. Whoa, get out of here.
Here.
That's great.
Everybody stay away from this guy. He's a psychopath.
I used to, maybe I've said it before. I think I've said it on stream. I used to do something when I was in elementary school. I had something called Ryan's Drawing Orders. And, Tyler, I'm so nostalgic. It's painful. Like, I kind of just don't even want to continue existing the current way. It's like, oh, just such simple, nice times. And you hear people say that, and you're like, yeah, but it's like, it really was. I used to, you know what I would do for, like, candy and stuff? And, like, well, when I say candy, I would get, like, marshmallow bananas or the Korean candy from the Korean kids. That stuff was good. Or I would get stuff like coffee crisp bars. You guys don't have coffee crisp, I think.
I think you've told us about that. We do not have those things.
It's my favorite candy bar, so you're missing out. Because what I like is always best. But anyway, what I would do was I would draw things for people, and I set it up with my teacher. I had a piece of paper tacked up in the back of the class, and people would like write their name and what they want drawn. And then they would like give me something for my trouble type thing. Like they'd hand me a quarter, or they'd give me like a cookie from their lunch, or like I'm not exaggerating. I know that sounds really innocent, and it's just like, oh, they give me animal crackers. It's like, no, they'd give me candy or some extra food or a quarter or something like that, and I would do it, and it was really fun because I would get to draw, and people liked me. And one of the things requested the most was still Pokemon, and I remember for Christmas that year, my mom got me a Pokemon handbook that showed all the Pokemon, and I used it for reference because I didn't have the internet back then. And I would use it for reference for drawing all the Pokemon they ordered. And it was just my little system. Like, I remember my mom came in my room once, and I was drawing. I think I drew in the hallway quite a few times at the class table. And she'd come in, and she's like, hey, like, you do your homework, or you want to do this type thing? And I'm like, oh, I'm working right now. I got to get this order done. And it's funny because it's like I'm kind of doing the same thing with commissions these days.
I was going to say, the way you started going, I'm like, so you basically used to do what you do now.
But it was kind of, to be honest, it was a little more fun back then. I felt really cool back then, and now it's a stress. And no one would get... Huh?
Oh, that's too bad.
It's too bad. I mean, you get money now, though. Not a lot, but...
Well, you don't get candy, you get...
You can buy a lot of candy with a couple bucks, though. Well, not these days. You get $8, you'll get like 3 candy bars. Depends how big they are. But anyway, that's that should be enough from us. I really enjoyed that.
Whoa, I was gonna say this is fun. I thought we were only gonna go for an hour, but we're hitting almost 3.
Yeah, we're at 2 hours 40 minutes almost, and I really enjoyed that. And
Anybody who makes it through this whole thing,
congratulations,
hats off.
Well done.
Hat, and I'm gonna thank you because damn.
Well, there used to be people that would sit around for all the 12-hour streams and such. I used to have people that would sit
those.
and go,
oh man,
that's dedication. I really like that.
That is because I'd hang around as long as I could for those, but
you got to go. You know.
Damn,
they can finish the video later. That's the nice
part.
You cut out there.
Yeah.
I'm very, very grateful your mic hasn't been doing what it usually does through this call.
Good. I was gonna say I've noticed that you've cut out a couple times, but not too bad.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well,
no, but it's only been very quick.
Oh, that's good. That's good then. Yeah, same thing for you. Like maybe every 15 minutes there'd be like one word that would get caught off or something like that, like about that. Yeah. Right. But no, that was really good. And if you made it through the entire video, I want to say a few things. One, thank you so much. Like honestly, like it feels really nice because it's like we really looked forward to this type of video. It's not much effort into it, but it's like opening up and talking to you guys, and it's something I really miss from the streams and talking to you guys because that was the fruits of the labor of being a YouTuber, and I don't get to feel that ever. Like I wake up and I work on the Bleach project, or I wake up and I work on this animation, or I wake up I practice drawing, or I just don't wake up, and it's like
good.
Yeah, that's becoming the more common one, and then eventually, Rip Van Ryan.
Not up.
But doing something like this, I'm very excited to see the results. I know we've probably fell out of algorithm because I don't upload very often enough. Doing stuff like this, I don't think we're going to be doing it super duper often. We'll be trying to do it. We'll try and make it a scheduled thing. I'd like to do that. Tyler is a busy man, and I really appreciate his time. So, quick thank you to joining me here today, Tyler.
No problem. I had a lot of fun.
As did I. It went exactly as I hoped.
I thought I was gonna be like, oh, I don't know what to say, but no, it's.
You're right.
Our station, we're
talk
not even
so
recording
freaking much, so.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I worry about that because I know I talk over people.
I interject as much as I can. Again, if I feel that I have something to say about it, I will. If I don't,
yeah,
keep going.
No, you did well.
Wish I could have talked more about the chair. I mean, that was always.
I don't know.
Say
I
something
wanted to.
The chair
You got that nice
wow
radio voice. You know, just want to hear some more of TensaZangetsu. But yes, thank you guys for joining. I never really finished saying what I wanted to do with the channel. We'll say that for like next time. But one thing I want to leave you guys with is I have not forgotten about this channel. I have a lot of aspirations and dreams and goals and things I want to do with the channel, and it's been really hard to find time and motivation. I have not been doing well lately, but I'm really trying to get back into it, and I'm trying to get that first episode done for you guys. And so just hang in there with me. I know it's a hard thing, but what we're doing is really crazy. Like I don't ever really see things done this well for fan projects or anything like that. It's just I got high hopes, and I hope that it turns out well. So thank you guys again, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye. Say bye, Tyler.
Bye, everybody. Peace out.
Bye.